Hello, Cindy. Why don't you hop in, Sin, and join us? Hello, Windy Loom. Howdy. Welcome. River Rat, welcome. Screen's melting. This is Japan, and Texas looks much like this. Bless you, River Rat. Confirmation is nice, isn't it? Now you have peace that transcends everything. Think about this. There's only one person that can be a confirmation. Hello, lizard hunter. Hello, humans. A river rat. Got some rivers here. Oh, Blickum! I haven't seen you in a long time. Yeah, I'm always a late show. All right, get some people here now. We're almost done with the intro. If you live next to small creeks or steep driveways like that can turn into, well, waterfalls. All right. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. I told you I would be back. I'll be back. He stole my line. All right. So, while we're getting set up here for a second, I take this moment to thank each and every single one of you, even in replay, for taking a moment of your time to be here with this precious family, because you are indeed taking your time, dedicating your time to this family, okay? Even in replay. So, thank you for doing that, and you're part of a really precious family. When you realize how precious this family is, you will realize how precious you indeed are. Okay? And we're working our way slowly, step by step, getting people confirmed. All right, so let's get ahead to the opening frame here. Bingo. Whoops, one more. Okay, not much activity going on the sun today, so most of our scientific part of the report is going to be kind of quick, and we'll get right to the spiritual stuff. Opening frame, boom, boom, boom. You can see we have all kinds of little spikes and spires reaching out, all right, all kinds of stuff going on, either approaching the sun just outside of the frame or, interacting with the sun. These spires are coming out all over the place. Now, we had this event that was the tail end, or the opening frames last night, the tail end of last night, opening frames the next day. So we already saw this little, what appears to be a craft this time. Not a black spheroid object, and the speed at which it exits too. It didn't drag a lot of plasma with it. It does have a small teardrop effect, but it's different. When you've been here and you've looked at you have a lot of experience and you've seen a lot of these explosions now, you'll see that one was a little different. Now, here's more of our typical activity. We got our CME going on. We have a big dip in the instrumentation right here. You see our black little area here, the dark area. I believe our object is probably right in there. And then we also have this one right here, sitting right there as well. And what I'm going to do... Oh, wait, I can't tilt the screen. Oh, darken it again. Thank you, Lord. All right. And then let's start zooming in a little bit here. Because some of these things are, bathed in plasma, and the plasma itself blinds the camera, especially to a dark object. But you can make out shadows in here. There's something in here. It's causing this big indentation. That's typical behavior when we see these objects. Meanwhile, whether, you can't really make out much in here, but we can clearly see this one right here, as well as stuff going on in here as well. So just zoom in on that frame real quick for you guys so you can see what I'm talking about here. I know we have some new members to this family, and we got to kind of go over basics a little bit so everybody's all on the same page, okay? All right. And if we have questions, go ahead. Feel free to ask a question. To me, there is no such thing as a stupid question. Okay? Questions are asked for answers. If I can't answer it, I won't. But if I can, I'll try to explain the best I can for you. Okay. Right there, we're at 8:48. We're going to continue on now. You can see our little thing moving out down below here. Make out the shadows of them. Okay, now what happened over here? Something came out, turned around, and just kind of stopped right there. And I'll show it to you when we speed it up. But right now, it's interacting with what's right here. We got another something squirting out here. Let's back that one up a little bit. That one's a little sus. All right, you guys. Let's try this. Tilt your head to the left, about 45 degrees, the same angle that this disc is at, and you can see. Here, let's go in nice and tight for you here. This isn't our typical looking, well, that was almost too much. Let's darken it. I think we went just a dimension too tight. back out one right back there. Oh, right there. There we go. Now you can start to see the shape of this craft right here. And let me go ahead and put it into motion too. And we'll stay zoomed in, watch it come out. There's the first one in that same area. There's the second one. First one, they're both very same shape, or very similar shape. Second one. Well, thank you, Blickum. Did you know that when you sub here at this channel, it's a lot different than subbing at another channel? When you sub to this channel, you become a member, a willing member of this family. And when you see what this family entails, you will treasure your subscription. It's not just subbing to my channel. It's totally different. You just signed your name in the Book of Life. Anyways, let's keep going. I got to back out of this. Some of you kind of figured that out too, subbing to this channel. Some of the people that have, realized. Did you know that when you sub to this channel, you kind of signed your name to the Book of Life? All right. So that most of our activity today is UFO activity coming out of the sun. Okay. That's what's kind of different about today. Now, this right here, it comes out. You see this stop and return real quick? Now, let me speed it up because stuff that happens in slow motion can be seen better when sped up. So let me speed that up for you, and then let you look at that for yourself. Okay? I'll let you be the judge of this as well. You guys have been here for a while. You got trained eyes. You know what to look for. I've described several things. Here, ooh, wait a second. Right about there. Watch the UFOs at this speed when they come out. They're a little clearer. If you have to tilt your head to the angle that they're at, it helps. Ooh, that one too. So, right at the tail end, that was more of the sphere with our little plasma bow shock on the backside right here at the tail end there. All right, so we have other objects that interact with our sun. There are other celestial bodies besides our planetoids that rotate around our sun. The fact that there could be another planetoid besides our 9 planets, demoted Pluto, whatever. It's so funny how it's outside the realm of comprehension that there could be another celestial body out there when we actually sit on one ourselves. We are on the third rock from the sun. We rotate around the sun. There are other planets in our solar system rotating around our sun. Maybe we just didn't discover them all yet, or we have new ones. But the fact that another planetary body, a celestial body, could be interacting with our sun besides what your lying schools and lying media told you, it's so funny how people refuse to believe that there could be something else. But obviously, if you have eyes to see and an open mind, and you refuse to just have their bullshit shoved down your throat, then open your mind, see with eyes what's going on here. That's what I tell you. I will let you be the judge of this as well. All right. I am not telling you what to think. I'm showing you how to think. Right. So there you go. There's your your solar activity for today. And remember, UFOs are real. They admitted to it. Everybody keeps brushing that one under the rug like it's not still there. That leaves a lot of unopened end alleys, right? Well, shoot, if that's the case, these celestial bodies that are interacting with our sun, if we're living on a celestial body, do you think maybe it's possible one of these could sustain life too? If it's rotating around the same star that sustains life for us? I mean, really, it's not that far out of the out of the ballpark. It's right there at the ballpark. In fact, it's only second base. You're standing on first base thinking, oh, there's no other way there could be any other planets. No, 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 no. Our solar system's teeming with stuff. They just want you to stick with what they want you to think. Okay, come over here, take a peek at this instrument yourself, play with these buttons. If you have a zoom option on your computer, come over here. There's not just these objects, there are faces in this stuff. Okay, real faces, not pareidolia. There's a big difference between spiritual events, real ones, and pareidolia. Pareidolia is totally different. All right. Pareidolia, you could see a face in this, right? Well, okay, you don't have pareidolia. So now let's get to our solar report here. I want one more tab bigger for you guys. All right. First, before we start zooming in, I want to go over our solar indices here. Our solar flux indice, this graph has jumped now. We're at 196. We are 4 shy of going red into dangerous territory. Our solar flux indice, the overall indice, has lifted. It's up 3 more points. It's up 3 to 196. Our sunspot number count, we're at 181 right now. If it was down 31, that means for a while it was over 200, all right? Now, finally, our area is starting to increase, the surface area of all the sunspots together, all right? And it's getting into the red zone here. We're above 2,000 now, so we really don't report on the area too much because it's never gotten into the red zone, but here it is finally. A different effect now. The sunspots are not as productive and active, but they're so spread out that they cover a lot more surface area. Okay, and then we're just going to go right to these. I'm going to do different kind of report tonight. Not different, but we're just going different style. What are you doing? I did not click on that. What are you doing? I click on this and you take me to a casino. Serious. It went to a casino thing. All right, and I don't gamble. I worked in casinos my whole life. I know not to gamble. All right, back to business. 3712, still beta gamma delta. We got 3713. All 3 of these are very dangerous. They didn't fire off when they were center disk, thankfully. Something else that I think might need to watch here. This thing has been quiet going all the way across, and it's spread out. These aren't close together, so we're not seeing a bunch of crackling and activity because the surface area is so spread apart. What I'm concerned about, though, is when either one of these rotate over to right about here where our IMF line is connected. Our IMF line might trigger the sunspot when it makes the full electrical circuit connection. These things have been quiet all the way across. It should continue being quiet the rest of the way. But if it fires something off right here where we're connected, it would be our IMF line inducing it. So let's just be cautious about this. They've been very quiet. I'm very thankful for how quiet they've been. I do not want any more Earth-directed CMEs. This planet is trying to purge all the energy the best it can already. So 3 major sunspot regions all starting to rotate away. Everybody kind of keep breathing easy. We're not out of the strike zone yet. Our most dangerous spot is still to come, and it's an electrically current line connecting our planet to the sun. So when the sunspot crosses that, it's like you got a plug that's spitting sparks out of your wall, and you draw a copper wire by it. You're running the risk that you might jump out and attack, electricity jump out and get that copper wire or whatever. So when we see these things approach this region, let's all just be, calm, but it has the potential. And if it does, I have a feeling it might be our connection spot. Okay. Now, you'll see what I say what I'm talking about here in a minute. When we back out of this, I will finish explaining that. Meantime, what I want to do while we're zoomed in here, come on now, Betsy. All right. Get these lines out of here just a tad bit. All right. There we go. You guys doing okay in there? Well, all the X flares lately, I'm surprised that these haven't popped off. Yep, it's you guys' prayers, really. And, well, there's some special activity going on. All right. Anyways, we'll get to that in the spiritual report. Right now, back to this. You can see our graph for today. It was a couple of UFOs and then something else, So it doesn't really reflect exactly what we saw, but this is because the instrument that gathers this data is between us and the sun. So any backside, any kind of backside activity doesn't really show up on this graph. But meantime, it's showing you that back here, very beginning, see how close it was to the sea floor? And what I mean by the sea floor is the bottom of this green line right here, the floor of the sea band right there. So we're starting off really low. That's when our solar indices were lower. You see this gradual, a steady increase, the average kind of climbing higher and higher. From here, now our average is like right about there. We've had this steady increase in our overall solar flux indice. That has been lately an indicator of our new round of activity to come. It gradually increases. We get our big 3, 4 X flares in a row, and then it gradually decreases, and then about a week goes by, and then it starts to increase, and X flares in a row, and then back. It's been this little pattern lately. So watch it closely. Meantime, over here, your geomagnetic forecast is all green for the next 3 days. That's good. All right. I will take that, Here at this channel, I told you these objects also carry their charge with them. So if they do go past our planet or interact with our IMF line or something, we get an unscheduled geomagnetic storm without being struck by a CME. All right. And they're telling you, oh, it's a stealth CME that we didn't see coming. Well, no, it's because it's very blurry. You're getting back to base. Oh, wait, that was a minute ago. Let's try this again. Oop. Yeah, what happened there? All right, I think that's pretty good right there. Anyways, back to where I was. So these objects, say a bigger one passes, yanks a bunch of plasma off the sun with it, brings a lot of radioactivity along with it when it, passes, by our planet or, between, within the vicinity. We get a little dose of that radiation unexpectedly and these objects are dark and black. You can't see them. So you get a little blast of unexpected radiation. And I have a feeling that might be causing our unexpected geomagnetic storms. Okay. So at this channel, I want you to, no geomagnetic storm should be unexpected. It shouldn't be a surprise when an unexpected one pops up, okay? Why? Because I just told you. These objects bring their radiation with them. Meanwhile, 15% in the X flare potential. It jumped. It was 10, now it's 15. We're up to 60 on the M flare, too. Thank you very much, Lizard Hunter. When you spread the word, wait until you find out how much that blesses you, dude. Oh, you're going to freak. All right, back to business. Where was it? Oh, yeah. So with our rotating sunspots coming into view, I think this X-flare jump potential from 10 to 15 is a good idea. All right. Meanwhile, our one M flare was a 2.4. It was out of 3712. Here's our players, 12, 13, and 16. These two are beta, gamma, delta now. All right. We got 2 sunspots that are X flare potential configuration, 13 and 12 now, and they're across from each other. They're like, there's 13 and 12. They're very close. These two are so close that when they get to this patch right here where our IMF, our magnetic frequency, or IMF line connection is, watch out, these two could jump together and cause a big X flare that would come out of this region. If that happens, I am willing to bet it's because of the interaction with our IMF line. Because our IMF line, we are sending out plasma. Our Earth is emitting gamma rays downward, down the IMF line towards the sun. So we could see our little spark traveling down the wire sitting right here. When these two cross into that, bzzz. So I'll explain a little more here in a sec. You guys, some of you already know. How's the blurriness? Is it back in focus for you guys? I think it should be. Okay, thank you. To business here. So we got these two have gone delta now. Watch out for this one. If that one goes delta, we got 3 of them. All right. So far, not much out of them, thankfully. Now, over here, this is well, concerning. Here we have our geomagnetic, our KP index, right? This is energy coming off the sun that hits our storm, our field, right? Our electromagnetic field, our shield. And anything around 4 is where we start to get concerned. Look at this drop down to 0. Nothing at all. Nothing. No solar wind at all. No, nothing. No, 0, nothing at all. All right. And it's not just a glitch in their instrumentation. It's not a data, they missed some data. All of these different locations had that same corresponding empty spot. This is like a boundary in between. This clump of energy is polarized, magnetized a certain way. Then we get a break. Now this new wave of energy is polarized as well. Okay, so I think this break, we saw one just about a week ago, where it was barely on the map. It was, 0.6 or 0.5. It wasn't even KP1. That's a similar, I believe that's like a magnetic boundary, because this is showing no solar wind at all. That means the solar wind's still there. There's a magnetic barrier that created a 0 magnetic current reading. See what I'm saying? I bet you we see more of this. This might help us define in the future these breaks like this, when we get a KP0 or really, really violent drop right down to nothing out of, a bunch of energy, normal activity, and then a pink like that, and then back up. That tells me that there's some kind of, they've separated. There was a separation of energy, magnetically separated somehow. Boom. And then we got another intake. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on there. And I would expect we will see more of this activity too, because the way the sun's been firing off stuff, our own current emitting from our planet as well can nullify something too for a second. This is we'll watch this, because this can be concerning as well. Our shield will react still, even when there's nothing coming in. It still causes a reaction in our magnetic field. Everything has an opposite and equal reaction. So there's a very strong reaction from a very weak effect. Okay. We'll see what happens here. I'm gonna have to pray on this and look at a different perspective and angle to see exactly what's working here. But I'm pretty sure it's a barrier. Okay. Otherwise, our KP index is good. We're not taking on a bunch of energy. I am a stickler for absorption. The more radiation this planet absorbs, the more volcanic, earthquake, gamma ray emissions we're going to see. Okay. Meanwhile, auroras are quiet. There's not a lot of energy coming at us from the sun. It's quiet. We're like KP1 right here. All right. Meanwhile, let's, you know what? We'll do the article in a second. I want to open up this tracker now. So right now we're not. Oh, good. We are tracking something. About time. You guys been on vacation? Yeah, they do get days off. I'm joking with them. I'm teasing with them. Anywho, back to business. This one's taken off this way. Do you see how it ripples this first black and white IMF line? See how it hooks it a little bit? Let me move my pointer out of the way. See how it hooked it and moved it? It interacted with the IMF line from that satellite. All right. Our IMF line is this is the Earth. Ours arcs. It doesn't go straight. It arcs and hits this quadrant of the sun. Okay. Can I zoom on this too, Lord? I can. Oh, beautiful. Now, where we are electronically and electromagnetically connected is to this quadrant right here. This line is charged with electricity. It comes out this from the sun and hits us. But when there's 0 kp, we can send a charge backward to it because we're emitting gamma rays and radiation now. Okay, we have a same dynamo effect in the sun is the same dynamo effect in our planet. The sun has a core, it has a shell. The core spins inside the shell. In fact, let me get you guys to understand here. When we're looking at coronagraphs, we are looking at the corona of the sun. We're not looking at the surface, we're looking at the corona, right? The sun's dynamo is so big and on such a grand scale that the magnetic field that the dynamo produces, just like our dynamo produces our magnetic field that protects us, the dynamo in here produces a magnetic field so strong that it emits light. Okay? It's in a magnetic field that's super, super, super strong that just glows. Zap, zap, zap. That's what your sun is. It's not a thermonuclear explosion like they taught you in school. Where's the oxygen for a thermonuclear explosion? Anybody ever asked that question in class when they gave you that as an answer? Oh, it's a thermonuclear explosion. I said, bullshit, where's the oxygen? Teacher looked at me like, go to the office. Yeah, because I embarrassed you. I called you on your bullshit. Or CO2 is going to kill us all. No, it's not. CO2 is plant food, teacher. What you been smoking out in a car? You know? No, actually, I had good teachers. Back in my day, I was lucky. We had decent teachers. Plus, I paid attention. Anyways, I didn't take everything that they gave me for face value. I went and tested it. And I found a lot of flaws, and I called my teachers on it. I went to Berkeley with something I had discovered. I wanted to go to their physics department. Their professor couldn't even grasp the concept. And I'm like, dude, you can't grasp this concept. I'm not paying you thousands of dollars to teach me. I already know this. If you haven't figured that out yet, what am I paying you to babysit or what? Yeah. Anyways, back to business. This IMF line where it connects, it has an electrical charge. It could trigger when those sunspots reach that quadrant. See where my little arrow is? That quadrant right there. I think you guys are getting the idea here. That's this quadrant, right? Give me back here to this. Right there. Right where my little pointer is. So they are both heading towards our IMF connection line. Now, when, say, some kind of eruption does happen in this zone, it will connect to our IMF line and we will get a good jolt out of it, all right? That's energy, radiation as well, that penetrates, soaks into the planet, and then we have issues. Whew. Did you get all that? All right, now back to business here at this article. AR 3713 in the southwest quadrant showed rapid development. What did it show? Fucking rapid development during the past 12 hours. That region, along with 3712, will both be a threat for moderate M flares during the next 24 hours. I'm telling you, they're going to be a threat for X flares. They're both beta, gamma, delta. Okay. And we have lifted indices. We are already almost at M flare level, so any hiccup is going to go X. All right. So in the next few days, we'll probably see a few X flares, or we might see this one spike when it crosses that IMF line. And everybody hold on. Okay. Now, it would be a real quick. Sorry, I'm all over the place. I said I was going to make this part quick. See how this one's heading away? We would still get clipped if it was a big X flare. Anything that's still, if it hasn't passed the limb and it's starting to point away, anything that's still on this side of the limb has the potential of hitting us. Okay. If the light from it can reach us, if we can see it on the surface of the sun, it can hit us. All right. It's in the line of sight. Now, back to this. This is very reminiscent of the 3664 79. It's looking a lot like that Carrington shape. The intensity of it, the area of it. Okay. Now we're getting into area. I told you we would, but I didn't think it would be tonight. But anyways, it's okay. The area has spread them out so they're not interacting. The only thing I'm a little concerned with, when they reach that IMF connection point, it'll spark an X flare. Okay, this is yesterday. You guys got all that. You grasped that stuff. I love you guys. You're awesome. You're like the best class I've ever had, man. All right. Asymmetric halos seen leaving the sun. Never mind. We don't. That was 17th. Let's move on now. This one's quick and sweet. Northern summer begins today. The seasons are changing. This afternoon at 4:45, not today, but tomorrow afternoon at 4:45, summer begins. That's an important day. That's a shifting of planetary alignment, the way our magnetic field or our poles adjust to the sun. Okay, it's an angle. It's about solstices and equinoxes. Okay, tomorrow will be the solstice. The seasons are changing this afternoon. Okay, summer begins in the northern, winter begins in the south. June 20th, it's usually the 21st. We had a leap year, so it backs up a day. It's the 20th this year. June 20th is the longest day. That means the light, sun's up the longest, and the shortest night, or the shortest day, depending on your hemisphere. Either way, happy solstice. Solstices can have a tendency, when you have a shift of pole on your magnetic pole and field, it can trigger an earthquake. Okay, so in this tomorrow, we have a different component added to our earthquake report. Okay, so we'll keep that in the back of the mind. Tomorrow it's like adding fuel to a fire. It really increases the chances when we got a bunch of different changing of magnetic pull. The sun magnetic pull on us is changing at a different angle now. All right. And it'll pull on the planet in a different way and make there could be, little crustal shifting, small little adjustments. And those small adjustments can trigger earthquakes, larger earthquakes, or, it can help induce the wiggling of the ground. Say we have a spot that's been locked up for a while. When you get that shift and a change of pull, it can wiggle, like loosen not loosen the ground. How do I put this, Lord? It pulls on a different angle now and can cause the ground to shift, not wiggle, but just shift. When you have a shift of forces in the ground, that's what could, unwedge locked stuff. We just have higher potential tomorrow. Okay. Otherwise, there's this beautiful solar maximum noctilucent cloud report that you can go read. Noctilucent clouds are badass. They're, well, what the part I want to get to right here. Solar activity isn't the only factor. Okay, they're talking about how solar activity does contribute to these noctilucent clouds. It's all about solar activity, really. But what they're talking about also here is the solar activity isn't the only factor. These NLCs, these noctilucent clouds, form when summertime wisps of water vapor rise to the edge of space, forming a rim of ice around specks of meteor debris. All right, meteor debris. We have now not just meteor debris, we have lots of volcanic ash up there. So, meteor/volcanic debris. All right. NLCs are forming around specks of debris. It's water vapor at the edge of space, forming around specks of debris. Do you understand the simple explanation? We simplify this, okay? Because there's certain factors and things here that I've been telling you for a long time. So we have an increase in water vapor in our air. Remember, I was telling you our content, the air is like a sponge. It's holding more water now. So we have more water vapor in our air. That water vapor rises to the edge of space, okay, where our volcanic plumes have been blowing ash up there, forming a rim of ice around specks of ash and meteor dust. More like, well, there's not that much meteor dust up there, okay? It's more like ash and debris. Particulates. Let's use the word particulate because that is more encompassing, because that's truly what's happening. It doesn't matter if it's meteor debris, whatever, it is a particulate. You will see more noctilucent clouds because we have more water vapor and more particulates. Extra moisture and Tonga volcano could be giving the clouds an edge. Gee, they're figuring it out. All right. Good article. Go over there and read more if you want. Now, let's get over here to business. We're looking at we had a very bumpy couple of days here. This is very intense stuff. A lot of pain, a lot of mood swings, a lot of, confusion, uneasiness. This is the frequency that kind of controls your moods. Let me tell you something. I think it was Russian, set their astronauts up and didn't know about the 7.83 needed to be sustained inside the craft. If you don't have a 7.83 sustained frequency, you lose your mind and go mad and go violent and start to kill. Okay, the astronauts lost their minds, went like zombified, murderous, and killed each other in the capsule because there was no 7.83. That's what it does to you. It makes you violent when there is no 7.83. So, very intense, sporadic, tapers off, hardly anything. This is where you get angry because you just got a bunch of pain and now there's hardly any resonance and you're angry. Then more intense pain stops, angry, more intense pain stop. So this is also side effects on you. Okay. Now our core and our shell are grinding. You get tapering off. We have all these perforations in the crust now that are leaking out pressure. Tapers off. We get a good blast of pressure. It starts to grind really hard and then boom, something stops it really quick. All right. You can see these sudden growths and sudden stops. As we go through the day, we left off with this event. It was starting to grow. It had a sudden stop. There was some kind of release, either volcanic, earthquake, or whatever, that caused our grinding session to end. It released on the shell, released on the core. We went to regular normal activity, a good lockup right there, not lockup, but a good screeching, a little tapering off, and now finally some normalcy. Nice, smooth green line. That's what we want, is one solid, smooth green line. That's where you're comfortable. You're finally at ease and at peace, okay? This effect that is happening to the planet, it affects the animals, it affects you. It's the frequency that the earth hums at. That little dynamo spinning in there, generating a magnetic field. That magnetic field hums much like the power lines, high voltage power lines. And the hum of our earth is 7.83. That's the frequency of our magnetic field. These scraping, these grinding events are indications that pressure has built up down below. The core and the shell are grinding together. All right. And then it releases, goes back to grinding, releases. So now we have some smooth continuity. Pressure has been released, and we're cruising along pretty smooth right now, which is good. Okay. Whew, finally. It's been a bumpy ride. It's been painful, emotional, and during times when you're not expecting it. Okay, your day's just going along fine, and then all of a sudden something happens. We go to grinding, and you're getting all excited or irritated or whatever. You're in pain, and then it stops abruptly. The field gets weak. You get irritable or easily agitated. Your nerves are raw. Okay, something happens. Anything could trigger you. All right, because this fluctuation, it's a roller coaster ride, and it seems to be over for a little while. So everybody right now, collectively, let's all take a nice, deep, long breath in. Hold it for a second. Open your eyes. Look at that green line. See smooth continuity, and exhale out. Okay. Now, let's move on. Whoa. That was disturbing. Let's go back to this real quick. We'll work our way into that. Okay, upper jet stream right now. Nice little violent dip right here. Really causing this huge reaction going straight northeast like this. When you play with fluid dynamics, a little stick in the water has results. If you stick it in like this, stuff will go around it. If you lay the stick down like this, you can force stuff to go pinch around, go underneath, and it causes reverse actions. So if you want to steer something that way, put something this way. If you want to steer something this way, put it the opposite way. You get the effects, all right? So this is your upper jet stream, though. This is up by our, not our polar jet, but way up there. We're going to go a little lower to our lower jet stream. You see our correlation. This is the flow of air on which the storms try to ride, okay? Now, lately, there hasn't been so much of a correlation between our lower jet and the weather below. Our correlations that we are seeing are almost direct opposites. Okay, that's like the fluid effect. You put something one direction to get it go the opposite, right? So watch this. Now we're going to see kind of opposite effects. You see how this flow is coming off the Pacific here and going into Mexico? Let's go down to our 850 where our weather is. And here we are still with this flow. This rotation here off the coast is causing stuff to flow southerly down the coast. Anything that tries to approach the coast gets denied and turns south. All right, we have these perfect cocktail mixtures blowing right at it, but then it diverts and turns this way and diverts and turns this way. We haven't seen much going, west to east, okay? And we're stuck in this pattern right here. This is probably because of our hot patch out there. Our little hot patch can cause a vortex in the water, right? That heated vortex heats the air, causing it to vortex as well. So I have a feeling this constant flow right here that we've seen for like the last month hasn't shifted, hasn't moved, didn't finally get kicked out by a low, didn't finally go this way or nothing. It's still there. It's parked there. I have a feeling it's because of our hot water anomaly there. We'll get into that here in a second too. So there's your storm activity. Now down here we had this well, just shy of a typhoon, a tropical storm whip up here. I showed you Texas getting flooded. Well, I didn't show you that. I was going to be part of the intro, but southern Texas got hit hard today, also with storm surge. I was talking about storm surge as well. When you have high winds, push in this direction, it causes storm surge. Okay, you're not only going to get like possible land spouts making landfall, but you got winds pushing water on shore. So they have major flooding in southern Texas because of this rotation right here. This might be a fixture too here soon because of thermal dynamics in the region. Okay, where else are we going, Lord? Yeah, we still get these storms that line up, but they seem to be going up this way. All right. When they go up this way, they head towards Canada, right? Canada is going to get, that's where our cooler air is in the summer, right? We got warm, moist air flow continuing this pattern, coming off the Gulf and going straight up through the midsection of the country. Warm, moist air colliding with cooler air. There's going to be a very dangerous region. It's going to be like a shifted tornado alley. It's following cold air. It's going to be so hot here in the southern states, there won't be enough cold air to cause the, we might see a different effect. I can't say all that way because there will be cold air, but it'll be coming from space. All right, back to our report here. Looking good for the rest of this. Let me get over here now to our CO2. SO2, my bad. SO2. Please, Lord. Thank you. Pick up the winds. Let's rotate it around. Dial it in here. Zoom on in. Here is your country divided. Bleeding out. SO2 on one side. Patchy over on the other side. Usually perforations in the crust. Any weak spots is where the magma pushing, on the underside of the crust wants to come up through these holes, but it can't, so it pushes the gas out of them instead. There's gas in between the magma and the surface, so push the gas out first. There's your country divided right there. Now, what we're seeing is good patches right in here that seem to be blocking some of the outflow. So probably some flooding in the region, and we know we have flooding down here in Texas causing these little patches right here to block the emission from this gas. Okay. There is a noticeable darkening. Well, yeah, kind of dark. And we did see pressure build, but it relieved. What is the timestamp? 621 on 620 at one local. Okay, well, it's still right now, so there's your pressure in the regions. This is all SO2 being pushed out of the perforations in the crust because of plasma down below. A few years back, there were 4 tiny little dots that went along the Sierra Ridge down here, and BP Earthwatch caught them and saw them and brought it to the YouTube community, and everybody flipped out. They thought there was a big ones coming. And now 4 dots, shit, we got millions of them all over the planet and nobody bats an eye. Well, you guys do. You care. All right, let's get into it. Don't you think this stuff should be on the news? Don't you think the rest of the world deserves to know that you got the planet's bleeding out SO2 because of the magma down below? Well, I don't know, maybe not. Anyways, you can see our fulcrum point. The upper one's even darker than the fulcrum point. That's another indicator that pressure has increased in the region. We got our fifth little dot that grew here on its own. It used to be 3. Then this one appeared and started getting dark. Now this one's even darker than our main one. We also have this one that started growing on its own. So these, this little patch is where I come to. That's our path of least resistance, our fulcrum point, and you can just tell it's a weak spot. And then we come on down here. Yeah, look how dark all this region is right here. We still got a fair amount of pressure pushing out a lot of gas. We might be something else I need to talk about here with the Schumann resonance too. This is a Russian site. Okay, this is the actual Russian site right here. Okay, there is another site that does the Schumann resonance too, but they get their readings from a different location on the planet. Okay, so not all the time are the readings exactly the same. Some regions, when it reverberates off the atmosphere and comes back down as an echo, remember, this is frequencies that are emitted from the crust of the planet, emitting out into space, but they hit the ionosphere, the magnetic part of the atmosphere of the ionosphere, and then they bounce back down as an echo. And this detects those echoes, all right? So we get different echoes in different regions. So we could, this is in Russia, but we could be experiencing another grinding event and it's not being detected yet over Russia. It's being detected on another one because the other one shows low activity when this has decent activity. Sometimes it shows decent activity when this one has low. So it's where this antenna is too, as well. Okay, I prefer this one. This is the real one. Okay, but we could be going through some pressure right now. And by the colors I see on this, compared to what we normally see after having a grinding event, that's still quite a fair amount of pressure. We're at like 7.5 out of 10, I would say. Also causes fires. We'll get into that too. Here, let's go back them up to their daytime. Thank you. All right, so this really dense packed dirt right here, so there's no perforations, no gas emits from this area because it's so densely packed. But over here, we have weak, loose soil and a lot of SO2 emissions out of China. That's really dark too. That indicates a lot of pressure down below. Okay, cool. Now what I do like to do is come over here to Taiwan, because Taiwan has the fulcrum point. It's the relief valve for a lot of pressure in the region. And you can even see our fulcrum points all kind of white in that area. All right. And we got a lot of SO2 emitting from the tip of the island as well as along the coastal regions. This is a city. This side of the island is like one big, huge city. So a lot of SO2 coming out from under that city. And then just right across the way, China's got their issues, all right? This is poisonous gas, too. It's not healthy to breathe, so they're being poisoned to death as well. So relief valve, spitting some out. Let's come down to Java. The island of Java emits a lot of SO2 because of all the volcanic activity on it. That volcanic activity releases a lot of pressure in the region. That's why we come over here and check this relief valve. Nice and dark purple. Pressure's high. Pressure's high. It's been high all over the place. Right here, this island of Sumatra is slowly filling in. I mean, there's only a couple little spots that aren't emitting gas, or this little spot. The rest of the island has filled in and is now starting to darken as well. If this spot weren't super purple, it would be almost the same color as Java. So Sumatra doing a lot of exhalation of this gas. You see these islands, these volcanic islands that run right through here? Look, the gas matches the islands. Because these volcanic islands are spewing SO2. Whatever volcanoes on this island might erupt. Whatever volcanoes on these islands might come to life. I mean, I'm not trying to predict anything. I'm just showing you what's kind of there. All right. let's go over to India. You see they have their issues. They're spewing SO2. Saudi Arabia has their issues. Europe looks like, well, a side of beef that got shot with a shotgun. There's perforations all over the place. Darker the color, the more intense the gas coming out of the ground. Or, could be a good sized hole that's, letting a lot of it out too. We good on SO2. All right, here we go into the crazy stuff now. Hold on tight. Everybody take a nice deep breath. It's going to be okay. What happened to my SST? Come on, you. What did you do? Hello? One more. Okay, good. Perfect. There we go. 18th is good enough. So, your heat anomalies. Okay. Let me just, a couple new people here. Here's your color code chart. Black being kind of neutral. Cold side, warm, hot, hottest. Okay. So, white being the hottest. Well, here we go. Off the coast of Japan, we got probably a plume, lava emitting on the ocean floor, creating a big old patch of hot water in that area. The resulting area out here is not because of this hot water flowing across. All of these are like individual sites underneath the water on the ocean floor, creating heat plumes. Okay. In between Japan and Korea now is starting to fill in yellow. All right. This area was just kind of blank red, this dull red like this a while ago. And now it's filling in with hot, super hot water. That's going to change their weather as well, right? Because hot water are going to change weather, right? So they're in for a handful. Now, here we are at Java. Can I get that circle off there, please? Thank you. Now, we still have pressure on this island. See this yellowness right down in here? We had yellow in here the other day, but we saw a quake that relieved pressure. We see more cold water inundation. See this cold water inundation starting over on this side? It wasn't there the other day, so some pressure got released. We're seeing cold water inundation. We still got a spot right here of pressure, right? So I expect to see a quake in this area around this fulcrum point in the coming days to relieve this pressure. When said quake hits, you will see this kind of go back down to red. Okay, little relief valve right there. Also, our other relief valve over here at Java, most of the cold water inundation was along the coast here. It's kind of shifting more over to these islands, which tells me a lot of pressure is coming out of this vicinity now, not so much out of Java as much. And our cold water is shifting over to here. We're also going into winter on this side as well. But you can see they've got hot water right here. This is the equator. We're not far from the equator. All right, this should be all hot water, and we're getting cold water inundation because of relief of pressure. Here's a good hot spot. I bet you there's a open vent on the bottom that's spewing underwater lava, and it comes up. The heat plume rises up and then spreads out like a mushroom cloud or like an anvil cloud on a thunderstorm. Well, there's your round spreading out effect, right? Down here, going into winter. Between the tip of South Africa and Antarctica during the wintertime, this is some very, very cold water. Not anymore. You might as well go sunbathing there now. No, the air's still cold, but here's all these different events on the ocean floor down there. Let me show you how our currents interact this. Okay, so it's not like this patch is bringing hot water over here. These are all individual plume sites, and each column of hot rising water induces a cold spot next to it. That's the replacement thing. And you get this oscillation from hot water to cold to hot to cold to hot to cold, warmer, hot to, hot here, cold, hot, cold. See, look, from hot to cold. So it's not like this is, traveling down line and making this warm. It's going through these different hot, cold cycles. You're either hot or you're cold, or I'll spit you out. Well, look. Pretty trippy, huh? You never thought you would see that on your, that's your water. That's the temperature of the water at the surface. At the surface, usually surface water is very, very diffused, and temperature averages look like this. What the fuck? No way. Oh, it's so violent. It's changed our. Oh, it's changed this map now. Wow. Because this is usually just a blended kind of color. It doesn't have a definition. It doesn't have. Wow, look at this. It's really starting to. Here's your hotter waters in this region. Okay, this is your your average temperature water. But no shit. Yeah, that current is so violent and so look how it's done it to this map. That is impressive. So back to it, yeah, it's just so strong that it's even changing that other map. Meanwhile, cold water here between South Africa and Antarctica. We got some, but this should be nice and cold during the wintertime too. No. Heat plumes growing off of these areas. You got volcanic activity, just like you're seeing on the surface of the planet. You're also got the same volcanic activity underwater. That's still the surface of the planet. It's just covered with water is all. So if we're seeing, increased activity above water, we'll see increased activity below water. You want to know where your sites are? Well, there they are. Now we have our mid-Atlantic ridge runs down through here like this. It's been spewing hot lava. It's been actually spewing something much more disturbing. It's been spewing nickel and cesium, which are radioactive. Well, the cesium's radioactive because it's from so down deep. Same with the nickel. It's from way down below. That's like material from our outer core coming up. So super hot metal coming up through the zipper here is heating the Atlantic Ocean. This is thermal heating from underneath. It has advanced the heating in this area by like months. Plus our thermal heating from the sun added to the thermal heating from below, we're going to get a very bad mix here. Before we had this huge yellow bar that went from here to here. Okay. Let's blink them. Here, I'll show you something right real quick. We're going to do a little comparison. This area right here, let me take the currents off. Yeah. So we're going to go back a month and look at this region a month ago. So you can still see it right there. Let me go back to May 17th of just a month ago. Watch the difference. This was one big yellow bar. This is a little bit sooner than it was the yellow bar. We had this yellow patch growing here. Let me take you to where the yellow bar was. Let's go back to June, and let's take you back to the 1st of June. That was 2 weeks, a little over 2 weeks ago. Hang on. Ooh, did you see the difference there? This is the big yellow bar that I was concerned about right there. We were watching this thing get bigger and bigger and stronger and reaching closer and closer to the West Coast. We had a little new release of energy up in this region here. And now that whole yellow bar has receded in temperature and pressure. Thankfully, that's a good thing to know, that a little perforation can reduce, a big old monster like that. Now, while we're here, look at this area here in the Atlantic compared to now. So that was on the 1st. Let's go, what was it, 17th we said? Yeah. So watch the difference. This whole area is starting to get hotter and hotter and hotter. This is where our hurricanes produce. Okay, they form, they're birthed off the coast of Africa. They come across. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on the wind. Give him strength, Lord. Okay. I'm just going to let that sit there for a minute. We have, it's not so bad right now, but we have correlating air patterns that are correlating to the heat signatures now. We're seeing a rotation, a broad rotation going around the Atlantic like this. All right. Right now it's kind of broken up. Look, we have a divergence in the middle. This is getting so hot. We're getting a vortex right here so strong that it's tearing away from the main conveyor belt. So tearing away, going back up because it's so hot right there. Hot water's rising, it's drawing, it's changing the air pattern, and it's turning to go back over this hot water and rise again. So the thermal activity at the surface of the water is starting to induce our airflows. Right now it's not matching up perfectly, but it's very close. The other night it matched up so perfectly I threw up my mouth and also this conveyor belt effect, see how it's bringing right off of Africa, right into Caribbean, right into the hot water of the Gulf, and up into the country. That is going to be our flow for a while. What it was doing was kind of turning here and going up the coast, and our conveyor belt was doing this kind of effect. All right. Then it broke away from going up the coast and broke through these gates right here, and the flow of air started to get sucked up into the Gulf and up into this current like this. This spot right here is creating rotation right here. This spot right here starting to take this this conveyor belt apart a little bit and causing different rotation. But what we're going to see, what I'm afraid we might see here as this water heats up, we are the first day of summer. We still got all of July, all of August, September, and it's already this is how hot it is in September at the end of the season. We're already at that temperature and we still got more to go. So this is going to be a very dangerous season. We're going to see hurricane after hurricane coming out of here, going up, coming out, going around. We'll probably end up seeing some kind of conveyor belt system rotating around central heat right here in the middle of the Atlantic here, which will bring hurricane after hurricane off the coast. You could see a conveyor belt with evenly spaced hurricanes, say 8 to 10 hurricanes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all rotating around, oscillating around this conveyor belt. Okay, if things get even worse and this gets even hotter, we could see one main vortex right here, one big central hurricane spinning right here, and the outside of that hurricane would cause straight line winds in excess of 200 miles an hour. All right. You would be like on the eye wall. There would be a big eye in the center of the Atlantic and everything rotating around it, just chewing up coastline. You can see that whatever happened before has formed our coastlines. Some kind of violent weather event has curved and shaped and groomed all of these coastlines. You look at your mountains, you'll see valleys and stuff are from a quick mass erosion. It wasn't rain over thousands and thousands of years that eroded these valleys away. It was one big wave that washed over and just... So, lots of this... See this round heat signature? It's causing vortex circulation right around this area. If, say, this hot spot, see this hot spot right here causing rotation, if this just plants itself here, that would not be good because it's funneling stuff right up into Texas and everything. And Texas just got pummeled today because of this flow. You see the water temperature is increasing. Wait until this whole thing is white. Like this. Could you imagine the entire Gulf white like this, and the mid-Atlantic bright yellow like this? Now another thing we got this hot water growing off the coast of the United States here. Let me get this wind out of the way now. Okay, and watch out along the East Coast up here, the upper Northeast here. You guys are getting hot water plumes off the coast here. Our Gulf Stream has been very exaggerated and torn apart. Now over here we have this spot starting to come back now. It's starting to turn yellow. Let me put on the winds over here now. What are you doing? I said SST wind play. Remember this rotation here that was keeping storms from going into hit the coast? Well, let's see our air currents. Do they match up with heat signatures? Do our air currents match up with heat signatures? If you said yes and oh shit at the same time, you're probably grasping the concept. So, thermal induction from the bottom of the sea floor will reach to the surface of the water, causing air currents to do their own behavior and activity. Okay? This could eventually evolve into a big rotating hotspot out here. One big hurricane out here that would just lash, all the islands and everything, depending on how big it got. But we're starting to see correlations between the air patterns and the heat signatures. Is very disturbing. If you know what you're looking at here, there's some scientists that are swallowing really hard right now, going, what's this gonna entail? Well, if you want the courage to grasp what it's gonna entail, come over here. All right, so there's your thermals. Let's get to our earthquake report now. I am lagging. I said it was gonna be quick. Oh, blabbermouth tonight. It's good enough. Deep quake region, Fiji. Here's our quake. Let's check it out together, shall we? 4.6 down at 540. This is our typical mid-range 4 deep activity that we see. Seems like everything's back to normal. This isn't, a bigger magnitude. It's a mid-range 4. We got 1. That's our typical activity. It produces 5 energy at the surface. This is 5 down at 245. So this is still producing magnitude 5 energy at this. This is the same little region that we had yesterday, this little volcanic island here on the flank of it. Oh, Z-square. Thank you for being here. All right, back to report now. So this is 5.0 energy, but it's not at the surface. It's that 5 energy being pushed out at the flank of this volcano right here, this volcanic island. Reaches down to the ocean floor. On the flanks here, you can see a little weak spot right there. Let that quake out. Mid-range 4, there's your 5. We have this island here that's spewing SO2. It acts as a small relief valve as energy tries to enter the system. So, just real quick, for new people here, let me get back to SO2 real quick. Thank you, Lord. Pick up the wind. And okay, here's Fiji. Here's this little island I was showing you. All right, we got 2 good vents right here that are venting SO2. which is the pressure being released at that area right here. Okay, so as energy from a deep quake comes into the system, it gets diffused right here. We got a weak spot over here that takes out some of it in the form of a 5. Then all quiet through this region. We got a lot of volcanic activity through there. Then we got 4.1 here. We haven't seen much activity here. This down at 59 is not a plate boundary, surface, or anything. This is some new little feature growing down below here. What's the depth on that, please, again, Lord, please? Thank you. 59. Okay, yeah. This is indication of pressure still finding new little pathways. Usually right along the plate boundary, but a little weak spot here in that zone, and it'll let it pop off there. Whole island, though, very quiet as usual. A lot of volcanic activity in the region. Our deep area here, very quiet. But looky here. So much pressure that the volcanic leakage or venting system here wasn't enough. It squeezed off a plate boundary quake, a 4.5 at the surface. That is a total release of energy at the surface right there. 4.5 on the boundary. I showed you Sumatra darkening up, right? It's not relieving enough. It even allowed for another quake, probably similar. Yep, 4.7 at a depth of 10, another boundary quake. See how this works? This is our relief valves. And they're working. They're relieving pressure. If the volcanic system doesn't relieve enough, it'll do a boundary quake. Nothing through that region because a lot of pressure got released. Look up here at the Gobi Desert. We get occasional 4.3 there at the surface. Give me this. 4.4 at the surface there. No fulcrum point deep. Our fulcrum point quakes here tend to be deeper in this thicker mountainous region, thicker crust region right here. So this is kind of outside that. You're seeing the plate boundary right here, but look at the actual topographical structure. It goes way up like that. Way up like this. See how it's curved all these mountains and made up a bump. This bump translated through the mud and pushed another bump out in front of it. So our fulcrum point is kind of out there. It would be on the other side of the fulcrum point. Pressure points at this region. It can't release. Bink. Next closest point, weak spot. I don't even see if there's any kind of... no, these are just some tough, rugged mountains right through here. See how densely crinkled they are? These little valleys through here. A lot of pressure in this region. Did that to form those mountains. Okay, backing out. All of Europe quiet, Saudi Arabia quiet, Africa quiet. Whoa. There we go. New one here, Japan, though. 4.3 down at 49. They also had this one, a 4.7 earlier today at 47. We'll get over onto this side when we get when we do the American America report. Real quick, let's finish up. Plate boundary, 4.8. Energy being released at the surface. 5.7 at a depth of 15. Plate boundary, energy being relieved at the surface. A little jump in magnitude there. Usually we see 5 at the surface, 5.7. A little jump in magnitude from pressure. That's good. We need to release that pressure. Okay, fulcrum point just south of it. 4.4 and 4.3. All of the SO2 emissions on this area have kept these quakes in the magnitude 4 range. With the pressure differences, the variations we've seen, we should have seen very big quake activity out of this region, and we haven't because of the release of that SO2, venting of the pressure in the region. Did we cover every? All right, now let's get into all magnitudes. Oh, it's blue. Okay. and focus on America. So the latest little bit of energy was 4.7 in this region. Energy that's in this region has been taken out by the 4 volcanoes or Fulcrum Point quake. These 4.0 at the surface, not at the surface, but shallow. 4.0, 4.4 down at 53. You can see that this is an underwater kind of mountain range, right? The tips of the mountains stick up through the water. They're the islands. On the little edges, we're seeing activity. That's energy at the surface being relieved. This one's a little different. It's a little deeper down there. 4.4 energy in the region can travel up through here. Pull back, please. And come up to the fulcrum point up here. A lot of little red micro quaking going on right now. So we're currently seeing a bunch of 1.8s, little micro quakes through the region. Let me check out fulcrum point. Maybe this 2.2 at a depth of 21. More interested more up here. 2.1. Okay, so there's magnitude 2 energy that reached this fulcrum point up here being released. So anything coming over, what's this? Right, the tip. It'd be about magnitude 2. You get a little dump off right here. Up. So as we come on down, here we go. Wanda Fuca, 2.7. There's your 2 energy coming in. Actually came in a little stronger at 2.7. Can also do a fulcrum point quake. Didn't hit right there, but just inside land, 1.1. That's a diminishing of pressure, a diminishing of energy right here to right here, from 2.2 to 1.1. We get the geysers that relieve a lot of pressure in the region. They're doing their microquaking thing. That's good. That's relieving energy in a small dose, a bunch of small doses instead of one big one. This acts as a relief valve when energy comes down into this region. So it kind of helps the Bay Area and this big city area by taking out some of the energy before it comes this way. We still do see stuff on the plate boundary here. We got some 2 and 2.3 activity. Same energy that when you're coming down through here, fulcrum points sometimes pushes inland. Kind of traveling along. Sorry, I'm bouncing around. I want to check these volcanoes because when we have earthquake activity around volcanoes, that's an indication of your pressure. Good one right there at Rainier. A bunch of stuff here. Mount St. Helens. Now, I heard some reports, everybody's concerned that this might blow. I don't think it's going to blow. I think what we're seeing, the increase in earthquake activity here, is because it's a volcano, and when our pressure builds up, this thing's plugged up. It can't blow, so it just shakes and rumbles and does its little thing to relieve energy. Now, volcanic earthquake, right here. This is a volcanic earthquake on the flanks. It doesn't register much, 0.0. If it was 0.0, how could it be at a depth of 6.2? We had some small quake here, but it's activity next to a volcanic peak. All right. When you see earthquake activity next to volcanoes, that's the pressure quakes. That's due to pressure down below rattling the weak spots. Volcanoes being perforations in the crust being weak spots. 1.9. All right. Lots of good microquaking, relieving pressure. I want to see what's going out here at my gold field. Nobody out here robbing my gold? No, good. Just shaking it. Now, this is good. You see this little flurry of these small 2.0s. Well, some are 1.1s. That was a 2. Microquaking out here relieves energy. All right. You see volcanic structure right here. This is also a volcanic structure too. It's a weak spot. So earthquakes around volcano structures. Okay. Pressure down below, rattling the weak spots. Here's your regular activity over in Texas and stuff. We all understand why that's happening. And then we got this in Oklahoma. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What's going on here? This region again. Yep. Okay, so I don't know if you can see it quite yet. Let me back up. Get right up into here. All right. Here's the top of the mountain ridge right here. This is the going down one side, down the other. This is the ridge of the mountain. These are the foothills. Do you see the fault structure at the base of the foothills here? Running right along here. All this structure through here is fault structure. See this mountain right here, volcanic peak? Another volcano type structure here. This is a fault right here. Running along these foothills, just off of that fault is we've had activity out here before. This is a 2.2, and look at the depth. It's at 1.8. We get shallow activity in this little area right here. This is a good indicator that we've had, again, another indicator that pressure in the area, that there was that pressure in the area, and it got relieved here at this little weak spot next to this fault line right there. Okay, I'm looking over here. Nothing up through there. Good. Let's see what happened. What's our magnitude? 3. All right, good. Sorry, I get winces of pain every once in a while. I think that covered everything. I'm sure there's probably some microquaking going on around Iceland. They're not going to show us that. Just one more thing. Little odd quake out here, diverse quake 2.0. Every once in a while we'll see like one weird quake, but they're not, this is not your typical area for quake action. So that's what makes it a diverse quake, when it's not your typical earthquake activity on a fulcrum point, plate boundary, fault structure, volcanic structure, anything like that. So there's your earthquake report. That's that. Let me close out a couple of these so I can open up the earthquake page, or the volcano report. Go ahead, get that one out of there. That's what you're jamming it up. All righty, we're doing better now. It's YouTube who is kind of jamming it up. Not their live stream, but their links that I had open were having issues. All right, so let me get this volcano report out of the way, and then we'll talk spirituality. We could just be at peace. All right. Come here, volcano report. All right, Lord, let this work, please. Oops, can you guys see that? 34 erupting, 26 warning. And where is my... There we go. And 25 in unrest. 34 and 26 is 60. 60 and 25 is 85 volcanoes that are at unrest. They're restless volcanoes. 60 and 25 is 85. We had, 10 years ago, it was just one volcano. If I'd have told you, 10 years from now, you're going to have 85 volcanoes, you would have said, yeah, go to the rubber room, Brian. So I did. And you still didn't believe me, and now here we are. Okay, let's get into volcanoes today, though. Oh, look at that beauty, huh? If you had a mountain just outside your neighborhood and it started doing that, would you feel a little uneasy about where you live? This is Luatobi. We'll get into its height when we get to it. Ibu, in the meantime, 14,000 foot. That's a pretty tall blast. That's a lot of pressure to get it that high. Here's Luatobi, what we just looked at, 10,000 foot blast, 7,000 to 10,000. Semeru, our good old faithful, over on the island of Java has, beaten its old record of 14. Now we're at 15,000. Okay. Ducona, 8,000 feet. Fuego, 15,000 feet. Hang on, you guys. Sunday, 19. Oh, why? Forgive me. Just twinges of pain. Very, very embarrassing. Especially when I'm trying to just do my report. I'm not trying to be fancy. Venador. Sabankaya, nothing. Let's get this one open because that's what was today. Was today now, yesterday. I don't know what you're agreeing to. I'm just moving on. Recahanus. Remember we were talking about Recahanus. Watch this. They're cooling these areas because they know they're getting ready for the next round of lava, right? You want to be prepared for the next little event. The effusive eruption has been stable over the past week. Okay, so is our pressure. We've seen little fluctuations here and there, but all in all, unless we get a good, absorption event and we see pressure from down below, that's when we see Recahanus really fire off. Okay. And it does a very good job of relieving a lot of pressure. It's not just one little perforation, one little vent, it's an entire rift, a huge curtain of 3,000 feet lava, curtain. So, or, 1,000 feet high or whatever. Sakurajima, 5,000 feet. Ibu, 14. Some of these are copies. Luatobi, 10. Semaru, 15. Home Reef on Tonga Islands, okay? A new one lately added to our list. Sometimes when pressure builds, we don't necessarily see an active or a semi-active go fully active. Sometimes we get a new one. Home Reef being a new perforation, a new one. And possible low-level eruption. This one actually likes to just ooze lava. Popocatépetl, no report there. Sangay, 21,000. That's pretty tall. Reventador, 14,000. Sabankaya, nothing. Okay, so that was a pretty weak report. Meanwhile, we have these lists, all right? 10 years ago, we had 1 to 2 volcanoes, island of Hawaii, and, maybe one in Old St. Helens or whatever. These are currently erupting. Currently erupting. This whole list over on this side are currently erupting. These are all erupting with minor activity. Okay. So these are still having activity. It's minor. It's not full on eruption, but then when pressure builds, it will have a full on eruption and jump over to here. So these are on this side are most likely to react first because they're already currently minor activity. Meanwhile, what I usually do is let you read this side and I talk about the stuff that could possibly be going, active. Right now, we had an increase in pressure. We still see high pressure. I don't see anything really kind of changing too much, except for maybe, one of these popping over. Meanwhile, I'm going to start reading the ones that are currently erupting because this needs to sink in. Barren Island, currently erupting. Bizamani, currently erupting. Ducono, Ebico, Erebus in Antarctica, currently erupting a volcano in Antarctica. Erta Ale, currently erupting in Ethiopia. Etna, made the list now. Remember I was telling you, Etna, watch Etna, watch Etna? Currently erupting. New activity, the crater. Remember I showed you the new little lava thing coming out of there last night? Etna is now currently erupting. I was talking about it needs to have activity. For weeks I've been saying Etna, 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 Etna. Now it's here. Fernandino still has the oozing lava things. Fuego, currently erupting. Home Reef and Tonga. Ibu, Krakatoa. This is the most dangerous one in the world. This is when it was Krakatoa. That's the one that darkened the planet for 2 years. Watch out. That's in the Sunda Strait, in between Java and Sumatra, right in that channel, is a volcano called Krakatoa now, currently erupting. Crickets. Luatobi, another similar Luatolo. We have the Marapi and a Merapi. So Marapi is on Sumatra, Merapi is on Java. Very similar names, just opposite islands. In between, you squeeze a Messiah in Nicaragua. Michael in the South Sandwich Islands, currently erupting near Congo, Popocatépetl, Reventador, Recahenus, currently erupting, Sabancaya, Sakurajima, Sangay. So when I read these blast reports, it's not just those 4 blasts for the day that they, gave us the altitudes. We have all of these that are still currently erupting. Sorry, you guys. The world does not understand the sense of urgency right now. They just do not. Sangay, Santa Guido, Semeru, on the island of the Kamchatka, Shivalush, that's one of the 4. Stromboli over in Italy. We have Stromboli and Etna currently erupting. Suano Sujima, Tinakula, and Villarica and Yasur, all of those currently erupting every day. Meanwhile, this whole list is just the potential to hop over. Kluchevskoye and the Kamchatka is always erupting. It goes over here. I think sometimes they shift some of these over here so the grand total number doesn't look so high, similar to what USGS does. Nevada del Ruiz, always erupting, should be over here. All of these are the potential for, erupting and going fully active. Rincon de Villa in Costa Rica. Here's a new one, San Cristobal, Nicaragua. All right, and what's been happening lately? When pressure builds up and we think it's going to be one of these hopping over, no, we get a brand new one that we've never even heard of. So, despite these lists, we might see something that's brand new that goes off. All right. So there is your volcano report. Let's do the weather, Heather. Let that data go ahead and load up while I start taking out some of these other instruments. All right, you guys, we're getting there. Trying to make it quick. You guys are here for a spiritual report. Let's get her done. Sun, all that has to load up first before I can start tackling it. Okay, once it comes around the beginning of the loop, we'll freeze it and go frame by frame. Bingo. Current conditions, nighttime of the 19th. What a day in Texas, huh? We watched this thing, I showed you last night how it's going to take out about from here down to Texas, and it sure did. I mean, they got quite a bit of water today, and they're still getting it. It's still ongoing. Okay, this rotation down here, this little cyclone that's spinning around this tropical depression just keeps funneling more and more water into this region. Okay, still flooding out at current. Nighttime of the 19th, morning of the 20th. There's noon, convection. Look out, Mexico. Mexico's still going to get residuals from that. Okay, so not just Texas, people in Mexico too. Excuse me. We're at noontime tomorrow. Convection tomorrow. Discrete pop-up, potential along the foothill of the Rockies through here. Definitely during convection down there. Now we're going nighttime convection. Centered part of the country. Nebraska, Kansas, Iowa area in that region, okay? Here's the morning of the 21st, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 22nd. You know what? Let's go back to this real quick. That's our next closest event to be concerned about, right? in there. The nighttime of the 21st, nighttime convection, isolated pop-ups up here in Montana, up into Canada. Those are dangerous as well. Those discrete supercells can form there. That'll be nighttime of the 21st, morning of the 22nd. We still have residuals left around this region. Don't focus exactly where this patch is because it shifts. It can move. It's the fact that we have the potential in the area now, okay? We have other factors, other players in our weather game, all right? It is not your normal conductivity, convection that we're used to seeing for the last 70 years of weather, right? We have new players, new effects, well, this can move. So it's very touchy. Weather is very volatile. It can change in a heartbeat and it can unchange in a heartbeat. So there's your noontime, the 22nd, convection, that's your sundown, all up through the Great Lakes region, convection of 22. All right. Texas will not get hit hard. Will not get hit hard. Yeah. Now here's convection of 22, nighttime at 22, morning at 23. This thing is just traveling across here, Canada. This is like what I'm talking about. See how this tornado alley, this severe weather alley is turning upward or towards Canada. Nighttime 22, morning of 23, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning at 24, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning at 25, right here, I'd watch nighttime at 24, morning at 25, noon, convection, scattered, isolated supercells all through this little region is peppered. I don't know if you can see it. Let me go back that frame. I believe I can get one more dimension out of this. Yeah. Now can you see the little speckled little yellow spots all through here? It almost looks like the chicken pox. All right, all those little discrete supercells right there, that can be a dangerous situation as well. Meanwhile, this low up here going up into Canada is a 991 millibar low. It's means business. That is no joke right there. Can I get buttons up here or something, man? They're down here. I'll zoom. Okay, so almost done here. We are convection of 25. All right. Discrete pop-ups in the afternoon on the 25th. Morning, or that's the nighttime of the 25th. Okay, so those pop-ups don't really blossom so much, but they are still scattered. There's your morning of the 26th, noon, convection, more pop-ups. Nighttime. Oh, what the heck? Really spread out pop-ups. That'll be very interesting to see what happens there. Nighttime of the 26th, morning of the 27th, noon, convection, tornado alley up here in Canada with snow. Okay, that's a 987 millibar low, going ballistic, going snow. Can you see the blue in there? Thunder snow, deep blizzard snow with heavy wind, high winds, heavy hail, large hail, wind, the whole mix right there. And that one little spot right there, that whole mix. Gonna have a little bit of everything probably in that baby. Meantime, that'll be the convection of the 27th. Anything after this is kind of way out, in forecast land. And the further we go out, the more subject to change with every click. So morning of the 28th, noon, convection, nighttime. You remember we've seen these big wind-up lows happening over America? Look at them now. They're up more northernly now. Their tails are still dragging down to the northern plains, but the tails used to drag down into Texas and stuff. So now you're seeing the center of rotation shifting further and further north because that's where your cooler air is. That'll be the nighttime of the 28th, morning of the 29th, noon, convection, nighttime, 30th, noon, convection, nighttime, June 1st, noon, convection, nighttime. Second, noon, convection, nighttime. Third, noon, convection, nighttime. Fourth, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 5th. Yeah, this whole thing, this whole wind up of this low right here, as it presses all through here, as it pushes up through this 991 right there is pretty low. These thunderstorms up here in Canada at convection on July 4th could be very dangerous. We'll see. There's the nighttime of the 4th, 5th, morning of the 5th, noon, convection, nighttime. All right, that was it. I'll let that loop play one more time. You got your timestamps over here too if you want. So I'll let that run real quick. Let me start getting set up for the. Oh, I didn't. Okay, talk to me right now then. I didn't set up for a spiritual report. I got delayed, stall tactics. Man, I tell you what, the devil is good at delays and stall tactics. Diversion, stall, delay, anything to keep it from just finally getting there. All right, let's get this open up. Start with some real images for you guys to get your little brains soothed. We do look at a lot of disturbing information at this channel, okay? Most people won't talk about this stuff because it's just too scary, okay? And they have issues with acceptance. They can't accept what is really happening, so therefore just don't report on it. Meanwhile, I report on it. Now, this has all been happening to me since the September 10th of 2017, 13 days before the Revelation 12 star alignment on the 23rd. All this, well, paranormal, supernatural stuff started happening to me. All right. I was just a normal guy going about my life. I had family, wife, and 2 kids, job and just doing my thing, going about life. And then something magical, something miraculous happened. And since that day, my life has turned upside down, backward, forward, but more importantly, my life has turned inside out. So now I am forced to wear my heart on my sleeve, if you know what I'm saying. Inside out, my heart is now on my sleeve. So I have to come forward with information. I can't just keep it to myself, all right? This is important information for the world. And since we don't have a righteous media that would report truthful events, I just got to do it myself. So there, we're looking at that. And in the meantime, we got a few new people here. I want to get just a little refresher. What's going on here? Now, we've had this event that happened not too long ago on February 29th, Leap Day, just this year. And if we could get these wonderful ads. Guys got seconds to live and you're trying to still make money, huh? All right, boom. We're going to take off the volume. I want you to hear this man's testimony. Now, something else that happened today. Before we even get into this, our wonderful press secretary used the term fake. These deep fakes, all right. For the longest time, they wanted to be able to create digital imagery so realistic so they could get to the deep fake genre. They want to have the ability to make anything possible, so therefore real stuff is now plausibly deniable. There is now plausible deniability for authentic stuff. This pisses me off to no end because I do blood, sweat, and tears for authenticity. And then we get, deep fakes, AI, computer generated, Photoshop, all this other stuff that negates truthful, real captures. So when we get a truthful, real capture, we also need a testimony that goes along with it. All right. I am an expert in body language. I am also an expert in voice print. I can hear in your voice when it crackles, the way you say things, whether you're lying or not. So testimony is golden. I need you guys to hear this man's testimony first, because he went and bought a new camera, a high-tech camera with a manual zoom. The image you're about to see is not of the clouds, it is out by the moon. Let me get some audio going. We good on audio? What's going on?
And I found the video and I was like, oh my gosh, what is that? So let's just check this out. Let's take a look at this. So,
it is February 28th, 29th, 28th, 29th. I have got me a better quality camera to catch this thing in the sky.
This guy went and bought a better quality camera to catch this thing in the sky. I'm sorry I have to do this over and over again, but until it really sinks in how truthful and real this event is, your mind's gonna explain it away as CGI or computer generator or whatever. I need you to hear the truthfulness in this man's voice and his story.
I was like, oh my gosh.
One more time.
So let's just check this out. Let's take a look at this. So,
it is February 28th, 29th, 28th, 29th. I have got me a better quality camera to catch this thing in the sky. And holy moly, I am scared. I'm scared, but I'm not going to trip because I've been catching this thing for a while now. It's very ominous. There he is. There he is. There he is. There he is. It's a huge face.
what is that?
Looking right down on us. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit brighter. There he is. There's the moon. Oh, I lost it. There it is. Let's see if I can get a better picture. I'm on the moon like it's supposed to. Is my hand in front of the thing or something? All right, here we go. Here we go. There it is.
Look at that.
Yep, there it is. There it is.
What is that?
The camera makes it so clear.
There it is.
Okay, this face out by the moon. Whoops, where did that one little image go? I got a better shot of it. Now, let's see if they're going to...
It is February
Okay,
28th.
so we got several people.
Okay, so he doesn't play the full video. I have more of the video on this little link right here. It's the same man, the same video, just extended more of what happened there. And there's a reason for this. You'll
Might tell us.
You'll be blown away when you understand the reason for it.
Just because of the way.
All right, MBB, going to use your video here for educational purposes. We're looking again at this man's testimony and watching his video. All right. Oh,
First sky video. That's pretty much all
again
we
with
got
the
on
greed
tap
and the
for
ads.
today. Here we go, guys. This is absolutely wild. Supposedly, this goes back to December 21st, 2023.
That's the wrong date.
Witnessed by, as you're going to see,
The man who took
people,
it told you
what
the
I
date.
understand, out of Kentucky. What I've done with this video, as bizarre as it may be, I've taken. We'll talk about it when we get to that point.
Yeah, play it finally. This
It just looks so. I don't know. It says December 21st, 2023, 1:45 a.m. They went inside, got people to come outside. You can tell they were walking outside, half tired, looking up into the sky. Murray Calloway out of Kentucky. And then something about Antonio Othelio. These are the people that right here that saw this.
It's up there again. There's the face.
And he says right
This
there.
is not an app.
Here, let me listen to what he says.
It's a face. Everybody's out here.
This is 145.
Everybody's out here looking. We're coming out here to see. Wait, I gotta get this. Y'all see that?
That's crazy.
That's crazy. Now,
Oops.
hold up. Let me zoom so everybody can see it. Nice. Zoom on it. Hey, y'all need to call somebody.
Who you gonna call? Ghostbusters!
Tell them we're out here, what we're looking at.
No, don't tell them that. You'd
y'all
scare
see
the
this.
shit out of
You
everybody.
see it, right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, there it is. That's a nice,
Woke him up.
crispy face. Hey, somebody got another phone? I don't want to be the only one recording this.
Start recording this, Roger.
Okay, a real event. Okay, he even puts the filters on it and uses it on. It's a solid object. It's actually there. It's a real face. It's the being illuminated by the moon. Okay, it's out next to the moon. The moon is actually illuminating this face, much like the book light illuminates my face when I'm reading to you guys. Okay, this is my face out by the moon. It has to be somebody. It's me. I recognize my own face. Okay. Now, this isn't a, hey, look at me, attention type thing. This is more for you. Okay. And what I'm going to do here, show you briefly. I'm a little older. Looks like me when I'm a tad bit younger. I'm going to show you a picture of me about that age. All right, that's what I looked like. That's my face. Especially after what I have endured and been through, the excruciating pain of walking. Imagine stabbing yourself in the hip on purpose each step you take, willingly enduring pain each step you take. Nobody in the world does that. It's crazy. You would be in the hospital. Most people don't do that. Here's another little picture, real quick, of me. All right. That's my forehead. That's my nose. That's my face. All this stuff is happening to me because of who I am. Okay? That's my face right there. And I'm going to even do a quick little flash cameo of my face right now. I'm going to turn the camera around. So those of you who are ready, and some of you have already seen my face, but you will see as I'm kind of got my book light going here, that the light shines on my face kind of as I read to you guys. I got to get my white position for reading. But before I do this thing, all right, something else came up with Mr. MBB today. So, put this on hold. That's my face, okay? Something else I want to show you that he caught. Where was it today? Mr. MBB. And ta-da! I told you we had other players in our weather.
Better than wearing a well-made gun belt is knowing you got it on sale.
How about going into combat without a weapon, without a vest, without in enemy territory with no weapons, no defense, no nothing? Try doing that. Do you see this right here? Let me go ahead and play this quick little segment. What somebody caught, very similar to our spheroid activity we've been seeing.
Cinnamon rolls in the sky. How about that? I mean, I've seen Doppler radar signatures on the radar before many, many times, and I don't recall the signatures looking quite like this. Very interesting indeed. Good observation by Hope Nathan. Out of almost look like cinnamon rolls in.
Okay, you see this kind of activity? We have spheroid objects, spheroid electromagnetic shapes controlling our weather. Let me show you. I discovered this. Well, I've seen it happen for a while, but I wasn't able to capture it for a minute. So there's that example. I want to get my, no. Let me open another YouTube here because I got to have all three of them open at the same time. I want you guys to understand there's a new player in our weather. So open up my channel here real quick. Most of my stuff is all live now. All current stuff is all under live. Most of the videos are from years ago when I first started documenting what was happening to me. Okay. People wouldn't believe me. That was very hard to take. When people don't believe you and you're trying to tell them the truth and they don't believe you, you know how frustrating that can get? And then, so I started documenting everything to show instead. Since you won't believe me and I tell you, maybe I'll show you instead. So most stuff is under live. I got some stuff in the community. What I was looking for is actually in the shorts right here. Okay, this is more of that activity. See the spiral effect going on in this? All right, that is... whoops, identical to that. It's just tighter. The other one had more little loops in it. It's one of these spheroids. It's a round structure, like a ball, moving through the air. Some of them spin. Other ones push stuff. They're moving around like chess pieces, you guys. And let me show you exactly more of this, a better example. We're going to go back. We're going to go over to the live. And it's called You Gotta See This. Or what is it called? Oh, watch this right here. After 10 ads, probably. Come on, YouTube. Oh, really? Okay, what we had here was an event. Oh, you know what? We can just go full screen. And what I saw was this little area. There's a spheroid structure right here. A bigger one back behind comes and bumps this smaller one, and you'll see a jump in the data. It's not a glitch. There isn't missing data. This thing actually got a shove and moved this little spheroid right in this area. So I'm going to put this video into motion and let you watch this for a second until you see it. Effect again going on here. I want you to watch this storm and how it skips and jumps. All right, that's not a skip in data. That's, whoops. I didn't do a very good job here. This is currently live over Florida right now. Our first little round sphere. All right, let me slow down here. Try and get this centered. All right, our first sphere is right behind that storm front. See the bulge in the front of that storm front? Our sphere is right there. It got a nudge. Stuff blossoming off the top of it at the very end there, okay? Now, back up behind here is a bigger sphere. And you can see stuff coming off of this first one going into a bigger one back behind. Now, when we have this plasma effect where it peels away from the sun and has the teardrop effect, there's the tail growing right there. So okay, we're going to go fast forward now to where this is advanced more to this. Well, let's go right about. Here's where I talk about the tail. So, shoulder, for those of you who know your left from your right, tilt your head to your left-hand shoulder, and you got us an elephant with a trunk, two eyes. It's like the big object. The big elephant in the room. Okay, at this point, here's our round circular spheroid structure. Air is going over the top. Once it goes up into colder air up above, it condenses gets more intense at the top of the sphere. As it drops down the backside of the sphere, that water and air warms up. It's not so intense, and then it stops raining. As air goes around a ball, as air goes around a ball, goes around the sides, around the edges, around everything, and all gathers at one point at the back where all these air currents converge from different directions, all converging to a focal point, not a fulcrum, but a focal point of airflow coming off and twisting. All right. Here is your twisting air current. This is almost like a vortex, like a tornado, but horizontal in the air. It's not reaching down. It's lapping over itself like waves. So let me play this part for you. Go ahead. Play it, please, Lord. Driving nasty weather at Jacksonville there. Looks like an uppercut. Oops. Let me try this. Oh, we're doing so good without the ad. I did a really crappy job of trying to capture this, but here, let's go a little further here. There we go. You might see something crazy in your sky. You can clearly see that this storm is round in structure. This round structure is controlling this storm. Perfect circle. Okay, this round structure, this spheroid structure is controlling this storm. It's also plowing in front, so it stirs up stuff at the very front edge of it as well. Okay, this has been happening for a minute now, and I saw it happening, and I'm like, oh boy, how do I capture this? How am I going to tell people this? So this is the event that was best capturable, the first good one I captured. So I got this just kind of for the record so we can refer back to it. Also, what I'm going to show you, it's our flow asymmetries that paint this, just like the flow asymmetries off the sun. Look at the magnetic wave lines go across there. Oh, right. Yeah, there was a right up in there. It does have some kind of magnetic frequency resonation to it, okay? These spheres are doing different kinds of things. For instance, this one is moving, right? Air's going over it, condensing at the top, forming rain. Then cool, warming up on the backside. It's got this current of air as the tail. I've seen other ones that are spinning. Oh, just like I showed you, the spinning one, right? I've seen other ones that turn off. It's like this is electrified, so it's causing weather. If you turn the electricity off, it would defy the weather and cause it to go away. So these things position themselves like chess pieces, cause weather to stir up in one spot, make it go away in another spot, put another sphere here to direct air currents this way, inducing flow asymmetries. These things are moving precisely, moving purposefully, moving. They're a new player in the game. Okay. Now, what I did before, all right, for instance, right here, this is a pretty easy one. You see where the tail's coming off. If you put a line right through the middle of this circle and then continue it out, you can tell the trajectory it's going to go, right? Then you go down this line. Any other city in this line is in the path, right? I saw one of these big spheres heading towards Houston, Texas. I got on every storm channel I could and in the chat room tried to tell them, you better warn the people of Houston. And everybody, what are you talking about? There's no storm even close to it. I said, this is hours away. It's like maybe 2-3 hours. They're like, what are you talking about? You can't give a 2-3 hour warning for, dude, trust me. And nobody took me seriously. So I went to another room and another room and another room and another room and another room. And then I finally just kind of gave up and watched Houston gets its ass kicked. And everybody went, where'd that come from? Well, Saw it coming a mile away. This kind of activity, if we can see it, we can project it, we can see it coming, we could give way further advance warning. 2 hours, not 5 minutes. Do you understand the difference between grabbing your stuff at the last second and running out the door and having 2 hours to grab all your stuff, get prepared, batten down the hatches, secure your property, evacuate the area, let it move through, come back in, undo the hatches, and assess the damage? I saw one of these spheroids moving towards Houston hours before it got there, and then you saw the windstorm that hit Houston a few weeks ago. What's this one? Where's this one going for? Jacksonville? Do you think this thing is pointing in Jacksonville? Come back here. Come back over here. Let's back up in time and show you something. Come all the way back here. Play games with me. When I first started this,
folks, welcome back. I told you.
do you see Jacksonville's way over here, right? Way over here. It's out of screen. You can see the jacks. Here comes this storm, right? How long is this video? 1 hour and 51:52. 1 hour and 51 minutes before it hit Jacksonville, I was watching it. How long before? Do you understand the scientific significance of what I've discovered? I can help these storm chasers. I can help these people if they would just listen to me. If I could get somebody's attention. Anywho, we got other players in the game, and this was 1 hour and 51 minutes before it hit Jacksonville. At the end here, I could have told everybody in Jacksonville, hey, 2 hours from now, in about 1 hour or so, you're going to be getting a storm. And I would have been right, huh? I could have given them 2 hours warning, huh? Couldn't I have? I'm not lying. I'm trying to help. Nobody wants it, and it's frustrating. But you guys do. Thankfully, you guys do. And maybe you'll help the world understand when I'm no longer around. So, we have other players in the game. Spheroid activity inducing weather. Okay? Not only me. This is... Come on, screen, reduce. Please, Lord. Reduce the screen. Because I'm not the only one, because people are capturing it as well and sending it into Mr. MBB. Lord, please, can I have control of this computer back? Please, I want the whole picture, please. Come on, bear with me. But when you deal with the spiritual realm like I do, it will drive you nuts. Do everything you can to stall, delay, divert. All right, back over here again. What are we looking at? We are looking at a weather radar site, round spherical shaped objects twirling the storms like they are. What are you doing? Oh, I get it. You can't just have an image sit there frozen. Got to make money off that. Do you see the greed and the... I can't even properly instruct the class here without this jam up, freeze up, delay, stall, divert. All because the truth is coming out. All right. I'm going to leave the sound off. I want you to watch this activity. That's doing something a little different. It's doing circular stuff. But it's the same, similar effects. It's affecting the weather. Isn't it? See how it took the regular thunderstorm and turned it into a land hurricane? See how it's just regular pop-ups, and then all of a sudden, right in the middle. Now, these guys have, what's going on here? No, that's got to be a glitch. What's going on here? They have no idea what's going on there, do they? But at this channel, we know what's going on there, don't we? Don't we? At this channel, we know what's going on there. It's our spherical activity. Again, with back here, more spheroid activity. Let me show you. Come on, give me the community. There's a crown. Can you see the crown on the cloud? There's a dog. Kitty cat. Well. Round, spheroid, electromagnetically glowing over the field. This was Wisconsin, May 11th, 2024. Just a couple of days after I showed you, or, showed that video of the spheroid event. Here it is being illuminated. Can you see it? Okay, real effect. Wait until you start seeing this stuff in your skies. You will, and you're going to go, oh, Brian was right. Should have listened to him. Well, you guys listen, but should have listened to him. Well, you guys listen, but everybody else should have listened to him. Here's a heat plume coming out of a volcano. This is not your normal thunderstorm. Everything was at the deck. The ceiling for most of the clouds was here. There was nothing else around in the area going above this ceiling. All of a sudden, poof, this thing out of nowhere just shoots right up, rockets right up through there. That's a heat plume coming out of the volcano further down the mountain range here, all right? And it's not ash. It's not steam. It's hot air rising, and then the cold air coming over the Sierras hits that hot column and causes convection in a straight up column. And it looks just like a volcanic plume, but it's cloud. Here it is on another day. There were no other thunderstorms in the entire region. There wasn't even thunderstorm activity forecasted, yet this big old blossom happened right over that volcano. All right, it's not an eruption. It's thermal heat causing convection. We also have, we have this energy down below. This heat down below is driving deep water creatures up higher in the water column, okay? So we got deep water creatures, ancient creatures, big predators that live down deep. They're being shoved up towards the surface because it's so hot down in the cold region. Echolocating. The creature's echolocating. That's an ancient form of vision, especially dark depths. You use echolocation, and your mind's eye will produce an image inside your mind by the echoes that bounce off of stuff. This creature is echolocating. Usually big predators will have parasite fish, little schools of what I call parasite fish. They're fish that feed off of the scraps, little, shreds of meat or whatever debris. The little fish will follow a big predator. So when I look at quality, authenticity. I look for behavior qualities as well. The fish following this creature actually authenticate this video is real, you guys. It's one frame at a time, put together in a flip book, right? Something I specialize in, right? I do a lot of this work of frame by frame, stacking these images into a flip book. All right, now what I'm going to do is want you to watch. I'm going to try to do this as best I can. Watch the pop-up. When I move it, I want you to watch the smooth, not jerky, now smooth fluid motion and tell me if this creature, whoops, come on, my hand. I got a numb, paralyzed hand, and trying to keep this on a thin red line is hard. So watch the tail. Whoops, come on. And it would help if I could get some cooperation from the computer and it doesn't glitch up. See the way that tail's moving? Let's try it again. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, huh? Look at the way this creature swims. Exactly the way it's supposed to. That's not CGI. That's the real deal, baby. I would stay out of the water now if I were you. And then, have you guys seen Dabu? I guess on Google Earth, somebody captured, I shit you not, Godzilla on Google Earth. And after seeing this, it does not surprise me one bit. But go, maybe I'll try to find that for you another show. Okay? But we are in a new time. We are in a new era. Dinosaurs still roam the earth. Okay? This is a deep water down. It's an apex predator. When there's nothing else bigger around that threatens its life, it will continue to live. Especially reptiles will just continue to age. They don't die of old age. They just get bigger and bigger and bigger and keep getting older and older. As long as nothing comes along and they get sick or anything, an apex predator that big doesn't have to worry about great white sharks, doesn't have to worry about anything. He's what everybody else worries about. And deep water creature. I mean, remember those stories of a great white shark, a big apex predator being attacked and taken down to a depth that's deeper than the animal can go, than the shark can go. Well, this creature came up from the depths, grabbed itself a big old shark, which is not big for it. That's just a snack. Comes up to the surface, grabs a snack, takes it down to the bottom. A lot of old paintings from history show sea monsters, sea creatures. Some of the faces try to depict something similar to the face on this, don't they? And we got not a regular whale tail. We got two pectoral fins back here. It's obviously a mesosaur. And when you see the detail on this creature, and go watch the movie, they are trying to subliminally hint at you through the movies, psst, this creature's here and alive. That's why they show you Jurassic Park. That's why this creature's in Jurassic Park. And what's interesting is now that they know that this creature's real, they have taken dolls, anatomically correct versions of this creature, and presented it to dolphins and whales and other sea creatures. All the sea creatures recognize this profile right here and run from it. So when other sea creatures recognize this profile, that tells you that they know it's real and it exists. They've had to run from it this whole time, and it's down there. It's Leviathan. It's the... Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. So, very disturbing reality that we live in, and that's why it's kind of important that we get this stuff right here. Come on back to me now. It's very important that we get this fastened down as our foundation. Okay? Really, all this show is about, are you going to continue to mess with me? It was playing just fine. What doing? I guess the Chinese had to hack in. Well, welcome aboard. Maybe you'll learn something. All right. Anyways, that's why it's so important that this is your foundation. Okay? You're going to need this to fall back on here pretty soon when reality starts becoming more than reality. The reality that you know is a lie. Most of this world lives in a paradigm, not a reality. Okay? So they live in Hollywood stars. They're looking at all the headlines, and they're stuck in World War III, and they're, caught up in the drama of the mainstream media, right? And that's all diversionary tactics, distraction. Hey, look over here, focus on this, focus on that. So you do not focus on this. Do you see what I am up against? I am up against the entire world. Got a few friends, though. Got a nice little family here, that's for sure. That is for sure. Now, do you ever feel like you're being watched? There's the face, okay? This event actually happened during the time of night when I usually do my reading. So it actually took place while I was doing a reading on a show. Somebody else across the country captured it at the time I was doing it. So I didn't get any notes, anything for reading. Lord, help me with the message tonight. Or the, you know what? Real quick here. I'm gonna do this. I gotta go say a prayer and find out what we're doing for the reading tonight. In the meantime, I got one more thing. It's important that you guys see this and understand too. So I'm gonna put up a video for my channel. Okay, videos are older stuff, and they're videos. All since I got more than 1,000 subscribers, thanks to you guys, I can stream live. Okay, whoops, that's not the one. So thanks to you guys, I'm able to stream live now. And that's where I do most of my work, because editing and trying to do all that was just too...
I'm here on my knees. I'm crying and screaming and praying, all three at once.
All right, I'll be right back.
I was
Let me go
in
say a
some
prayer.
extreme anguish.
I'll be right back.
A paranormal traumatic event happened to me. Something so unbelievable you guys wouldn't believe it. So if I told you, so I'm going to show you instead. So in this image here, I'm sitting here praying, and Mary's head appears right next to my head, and we're going to zoom in on this. You can't go in too tight on it, but she's looking down at my head this way. Let's see, there's pretty good. And you can make out her eye and her nose coming down, her shawl coming over, and it's in shadow right here. This is a shadow of the inside of her shawl going over her head like this. Here's her eye, her nose, her other eye would be on the other side there. Okay. You can't go in too tight on it. And then also is this white ball with an eye in it, this white orb with an eye in it. Okay, and that's not all, because over here in this corner up here is an angel. the silhouette of an angel with his wings spread, with his back to us, standing in a shaft of light. Here's his head. There's a glow over the head. The wings are extended, and there's a feather coming off. The last feather coming off is crossing over these brown roof tiles in the background here. And you can make out there's an angel right here. And you can even see his head right here. Going a little bit tighter. So there's the angel with his back to us and his wings spread. Yeah, you can see a lot better with the filter. Before it was really faint and it was hard to see. Same with this. This came out a little bit better here. Yeah, there's Mary looking down at my head because I was in anguish. I mean, what happened to me was just so disturbing. I can't even describe it. I was in...
Okay, so real quick, let's go a little fast forward because something happened before that event, and I hadn't found it till years later. Someone told me, hey, you missed something, go back and look. So I went back, and see the date on this up above, right up here, is October 4th of 2017. Okay, this is 11 days after the Revelation 12 star alignment. That Revelation 12 star alignment should have slammed the brakes and like a smash into a brick wall moment for this world. But everybody just brushed it off like it was nothing. Dude, the stars in the heavens aligned precisely the way a 2,000-year-old prophecy said, and everybody swept it under the rug. Well, it really happened, okay? And it happened to me. And this weird stuff started happening to me, and I had no idea what was going on until I found this on my security camera, all right? And I'm like, Mary? Angels? God showing up? What the heck? Then this had happened the day before this event, okay? So, September 10th, I'm shown Nibiru and Nemesis by God. And I'm like, what? I didn't even believe in that stuff. I'm a UFO guy, not Nibiru guy. But he shows me Nibiru, Nemesis, the destroyer, tells me, warn everybody. I'm like, whatever. Okay, how do I do that? Meanwhile, this appeared on my security cameras.
Here you can see we're still in the garage with our same display right here. And this was actually captured the day before the other picture, but I haven't found it for years later until I was digging around through my, my old pictures and stuff and went even further back to see if I'd missed anything. And I captured this one. And we're going to zoom into this streak right up here, this one right here. Just bear with me for a second here. Now, hopefully, you can see that we have a lady's profile here. Here's her eye, here's her forehead, her snub little nose, here's the bottom jaw. She's smiling, she's looking down, and she's holding a baby. And here's the baby's head right here. Here's the face, the back of the head. Here's her arm cupped around like this, and she's holding the baby. Now I'm going to run this through the filter real quick, and it's going to enhance it, but a little bit too much. But see, now you can really make out her profile a lot better and see her face, and her headdress is coming over and going down back behind her. And you can still make out the baby's head right here. If I pull back a little bit, there we go.
Try and get some of these wavy
This
lines.
was captured on October 4th. So this was about 11 days after the Revelation 12 sign. All this stuff started happening to me just prior to the Revelation 12 sign and then right after it. So it said the woman was about to give birth. Well, it looks like maybe she gave birth, and here's the little baby being caught up to God.
All right, now, let me just bust open Revelation 12 here for you real quick. Revelation 12. Some of you know it. It's the woman and the dragon. Okay? Revelation 12. a great and wondrous sign appeared in the heavens. A woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and a crown of 12 stars on her head. That was the star alignment. The woman, right? We all saw the star alignment, right? Did we miss that part? Because that was a real event. It says you will see signs in the stars, the moon, the sun, and the stars. That means star alignments. Correct? Good. Now, continuing on. So, a great and wondrous sign. Everybody were waiting for the sign. Well, a great and wondrous sign appeared in the heavens, in heaven, okay? A woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet and a crown of 12 stars. Now, she was pregnant and cried out in pain as she was about to give birth. The birth pains, right? Then another sign appeared in heaven. When we start here, it makes it sound like the second sign appears after. Then another sign appeared in heaven, an enormous red dragon with 7 heads, 10 horns, and 7 crowns on his head. The nemesis with the Nibiru and the little satellites orbiting it are the 7 heads, 10 horns, and 7 crowns on rotating around the head of Nemesis. Okay, so the dragon had 7 heads, 10 horns, and 7 crowns. Those are all the planets, different objects rotating. Now, his tail swept a third of the stars out of the sky and flung them to the earth. Now listen closely. The dragon stood in front of the woman who was about to give birth. The dragon stood in front of or before the woman. That can also be interpreted as standing before her, in front of her. Okay. The nemesis showed up on September 10th. It showed up before the woman. So there were 2 signs. The first sign stood before the woman. It took place before the star alignment. Everybody was looking for the dragon after the star alignment. No. It stood before, in front of the woman. Aha. Everybody missed the dragon. They all saw the woman and they missed the dragon. God showed me the dragon and told me, everybody saw the woman, they all missed the dragon. I want you to show them. And I'm like, what? Are you're kidding me, right? Now, something about me, I've always had this relationship and been able to talk to God. I guess that's weird for most people. It's abnormal for you guys, but my whole life it's been normal. So when I hear his voice, I recognize it. It's not a big deal. I listen and I'm like, oh, really? Okay. So what? You want me to do that? What? So sometimes, I recognize the voice. It's been part of my life, so it's very easy for me. So this, all right, let me continue. So many different angles off of this. It's just hard to stay right on track. Now back to where we were. Then another sign appeared. The dragon stood in front of the woman. The dragon stood in front of the woman who was about to give birth so that he may devour her child the moment it was born. She gave birth, so it didn't devour the child. She gave birth to a son, a male child. Oh, you're looking at it right now, aren't you? Aren't you? She gave birth to a son, a male child who will rule all the nations with an iron scepter. This entity right here that you're looking at that was born entered me, possessed me. I didn't know what was going on. I had no idea. Everything turned upside down, inside out, what's going on? I felt like I had just been born. Odd, since this happened right then. Now, she gave birth to a male child who will rule all the nations with an iron scepter. That makes it sound like, oh dear God, we got the Antichrist. But listen closely. She gave birth to a male child who will rule the nations with an iron scepter. Do you know what an iron scepter really is? What is an iron scepter? All right, so let me back up a little bit. We're going back in history a little bit. You guys enjoying this? You're sticking around for it. Let's just type it in. You can always hit this thing and type in titles. Wake up call. And that's what this is. This was my first video to warn the world. This is what God wanted me to do. It took me forever to finally get how to do it right. Okay, so this video right here is
this big up. Boom. Here's our object right here.
Nibiru, black spheroid with plasma all around it. It has a little plasma wing coming off here, and there's one coming off this over here. It's very faint. It's getting drowned out by the brighter light behind it. Let me get just right. Take out this light. Yeah, we're getting a little closer. Let me get a little darker. There. Now, can you see Nibiru, the fabled winged planet? I didn't believe in this thing, okay? I was not a Nibiru guy. I was a UFO guy, right? So this was kind of out of left field. What? You're showing me the real? Oh my God, it's real. This is the real one. This isn't the lens flare that everybody got you looking at, right? This is the real deal, showing up on September 10th, standing in front of the woman, 13 days before the star alignment. September 10th, Nibiru shows up. My life changes drastically. Then, actually, it was a little bit after this. So, let me continue this video.
Looks like Nibiru. It's got a wing coming off on this side and a wing coming off on that side. And that's not all, because behind that is this big object right here. This is what's causing our flares. Here's a conduit of plasma that is sucking off of our sun, going into this planet. Here's a damage ring or an impact zone on this planet right here. You can see Nibiru sticking out in front of it here.
Okay, I think most of you guys can see this. This is a three-dimensional spheroid object that is way bigger than the sun. Way bigger than the sun. It is so big and so dense, it doesn't reflect light. It's only when it interacts with the sun and plasma drapes over this object that you see it. It's bending light. This is plasma. Plasma is light. Light is bending because of the gravitational electromagnetic forces of this object is bending light, is it not? This is an iron scepter. It's super, super dense. It's a black hole. Okay? A black hole is not what they portray in the movies. It's not what Walt Disney and all these guys got you thinking. A black hole is a super dense spheroid, like a bowling ball that's even denser. Do you think if you went through at the speed of light into a super dense iron ball that you would go through it and come out the other side? the wackiest stuff they got you guys believing. Here is a black hole right there being displayed, and they don't even know they're looking at it. But I do. God showed me this. It took me a while to finally see what's going on here. It was an arduous battle. It wasn't until I walked away in disgust, not disgust, but just walked away to take a break. And when I did, this image was much bigger. It was zoomed in so big in your face you couldn't see it, right? Just like these other images I show you. They're so close up that you have to back away to see it. So he's telling me, think the big picture. So I zoom in. No, zooming in when you're already too zoomed in doesn't work. Think the big picture. Think the big picture. So I stepped outside, take a break. And when I did, I left the cursor sitting on this red line. You see this pop-up is this image compressed down further. So the image I was looking at was so zoomed in, I couldn't see it. It wasn't until I saw it compressed down here. And when I did, I almost passed out. Because I'm an astrophysicist, I see something bigger than the sun. I realize exactly what it is. And most astrophysicists see this and they have a heart attack and drop dead. This image right here can kill you if you understand what you're looking at. Unless you have protection from me, this image right here, and you grasp the concept of what you're looking at, will give you a heart attack. You will drop dead when you grasp the concept of what you're looking at. But you here in this audience have a special kind of protection. That's your iron scepter. The male child, me, I will rule with an iron scepter. Brian Knight is coming like a lion, all right? I'm the male child. I got possessed, whatever this entity, that little baby, somehow entered me. I'm just regular old me, but everything, my whole perspective changed. Everything. Really, you're going to shut me down, huh? Come on, Google. What the problem? Come on. Hello. All right, it's coming back slowly but surely. You know what? Lord, can we please have control of this computer back? Thank you. Can we please have even be able to play the video?
I got to be honest, I'm not completely sold on this.
That's okay. Not many are, Mr. Bradbury. Now, back to where I was going. So we had this event, Nibiru Nemesis, real event. We're in the gravity well of this black hole. As we swing by it, there are other stellar cores that this thing has probably devoured that we're passing by. Those are your 7 crowns. There's 7 things rotating around this one. We have other bigger cores that are out there with other satellite objects. Some of these are solar systems of their own, with life of their own accompanying them. Okay, we got entities from all across the universe arriving here at this solar system. We got entities from across the universe and under the earth showing up here on Earth. They all came here for a special reason. Okay, that's the iron scepter that we're talking about. Now, what's good? We went to there. Let's back up. I want to take you back to that little baby again. The Revolution 12 baby was born in my garage and then was caught up to God. All right? Where'd it go? All right. There it is. No, it's that one. Okay, and what happened to me ever since this day has been nothing but paranormal and supernatural. Okay, then the following day, I didn't even know this took place for a couple of years afterwards. All right. I had no idea about this image. I knew about this. This was the first thing that started happening right here. Okay. I made the video. What are you doing? Lord, can we please have the... Thank you. All right. So I struggled for a few days. How to do the video, what I was going to say. Got the guts up, posted it. And then, well, I went down here because I was wrecked. I'm in pain, spiritually, physically, emotionally, all three at the same time. Something I had never experienced before. I'm in, well, anguish. You ever heard the term anguish? A lot of people associate anguish with feelings inside, but imagine having physical, spiritual, and emotion, all three at the same, is just overwhelming the senses. So I'm down here in anguish. I'm on my knees crying and screaming and praying because I'm seeking relief. Meanwhile, the security camera is just doing its job. I'm just sitting here praying. It wasn't for a couple of days later that I went back through to see, just check any animals came through the garage or whatever. And I saw, oh, that's that night I went in and prayed. What the heck is next to my head? Uh-oh, what's this? And then I started to make sense. And what you're looking at here, this angel, the God Eye, Mary, where these three spiritual entities are, Jesus is usually there too. And in this image, you have an angel, Mary, the God Eye. Jesus is in this image if you know what to look for. This is an anointing ceremony. I didn't know it, but this is an anointing. Excruciatingly painful. You don't want to, everybody wants to be this chosen one, right? No, it's excruciating. You don't want to be the chosen one. It's nightmares. It's seeing people dying, visions just so gnarly. I'm watching some of the TikToks of these soldiers that were in combat, right? And they're describing the situation. And what's funny is I was there. I was the one who took the shot, and I was the one who got shot. Imagine that. He's telling half the story. I got the other half of being the one being shot, too. Imagine having to experience both sides. It would drive you insane. That's why I have to use these techniques that I'm trying to teach you to make it through each day. Okay. It's important that you guys understand these techniques because pretty soon the spiritual realm is going to be all around. It's going to be more visible and you're going to have people losing their minds. And I want you to have a strong mind. Okay. That's your foundation right there. This stuff follows me around because of who I am. Okay. I can't really just say that sentence because if I come out and say that one certain sentence, you know what it is. If I come out and say that sentence, it makes me sound crazy. But I'm not crazy. This is the truth. And I think you guys are smart enough to discern the truth. All right. Boy, I didn't know we were going there, Lord. All right, let's get into some reading. All right. Everybody get in your comfortable spot. We've been through a lot of disturbing, a lot of growing, a lot of, disturbing details that are true. And when you realize how true they are, the more disturbing they are. So it's important that we get this part where we calm down. We understand that there's a bigger picture. These are all just signs of the bigger picture. When these shouldn't be disturbing, they can have the opposite effect and be comforting when you know that it's part of the process and you're seeing the process. You're seeing it's actually a process and you're seeing the parts moving, right? So it's important that we stay positive even in the face of adversity, okay? And I have to do the same thing every day too, as well. Oh, that's right. Well, before I start this, again with the ranting, somebody was the same guy did the same thing again with the ranting, said the prayer, Jesus, please help me. These people are driving me crazy. And it worked again. There was a couple other people, two ladies in my audience, in my family, experimented, didn't you? And you got a little bit of result, didn't you? It wasn't exactly the full result that you were expecting, but you did get a little result. Two of you ladies today. I'm not going to say your names. I know. I'm going to keep you anonymous, but congratulations, ladies. Well done. It does work. Sometimes not as effectively at first, but the more you practice it, the better you get at it, the more effective it becomes. So, way to go, ladies, and to the gentleman who had success yesterday. I don't want to say I'm so proud of you. I am just so thankful that you trusted me and you got results, okay? Now, back to what else, Lord? We had the one gentleman, the two ladies, yes. And that's okay. Now, back to what I was saying. We deal with a lot of disturbing stuff here at this channel, all right? And when you look at the news anymore, look at the representative for our president. That is just disturbing in itself. So, we got all kinds of stuff. Every excuse to drive you crazy or to make you discouraged, right? So, do not be discouraged by the difficulty of keeping your focus on me. I know that your heart's desire is to be aware of my presence continually, and this is a lofty goal. You aim toward it, but you never fully achieve it in this life. So don't let feelings of failure weigh you down. Sometimes we try these techniques that doesn't work and you get failure, so don't let those feelings of failure weigh you down. Don't be discouraged. Keep your focus on me. I know that your heart desires to be aware of my presence. And I know all the distractions and everything that goes along with that. So I know that you desire to be aware of my presence. I am here. You can do that here at this show. This is a lofty goal. You aim toward it, but you never fully achieve it in this life. Well, this life has changed now, hasn't it? Since you've been here at this channel, you have a new perspective. You can be aware of my presence continually because now you know I'm here. Don't let the feelings of failure weigh you down. Instead, try to see yourself as I see you. First of all, I'm delighted that your deep desire to walk closely with me through your life. All right. That's the most thing. I'm delighted that you desire to walk closely with me. I'm pleased each time you initiate communication with me as well. Okay. Even if it's that ranting and raving, dropping F-bombs, that's the best ones. Okay. It's your passion. Use your ranting and raving and complaining, turn it into a prayer by starting with, Jesus, please help me, and then describe your irritation, then your complaint. Okay, but address it first, Jesus, please help me, then your complaint has turned into a prayer and you get relief. That's what one gentleman and two ladies have practiced and found some relief. Okay. Don't be discouraged. Keep focusing on me. It is possible to be aware of my presence continually. It is a lofty goal. It was very lofty before you came to this channel. Now it's not as lofty, and your feelings of failure that used to weigh you down are now starting to be eased, aren't they? Because there is no failure. There is no mistake when you learn from it. It turns from mistake into opportunity then, doesn't it? So there's no such thing as mistakes. There's no such thing as failure. There's only opportunity. right? Okay, let's move on. I'm delighted that you want to walk closely with me. I'm pleased that you initiate communication with me. In addition, I notice the progress you've made since you first resolved to live in my presence. When you made the decision, when you first resolved, you decided to believe me and now live in my presence. Okay? Whoa. Say that again. Hold that. The dead in Christ? What? Whoa. Say it again. Dead in Christ. Ooh, I just got a cool revelation, you guys. All right. Don't even have to write it down. Dead in Christ. That was you guys before you came to this channel. A lot of you were believers. You had your faith, but you weren't 100% sure. You had faith, but now you're 100% sure. Your knowledge, your faith has been taken to knowledge. I've completed your faith. The dead in Christ have now risen. You're now aware that I'm here. Wow, that's what that means? So get that your dead in Christ aren't the people buried in the ground, rising up out of the dirt like zombies. No, the dead in Christ were the believers with faith that were hanging on for the return. Now that I'm returned, you are no longer dead in Christ. You are risen. You have a new outlook, don't you? You have a new perspective, don't you? You are risen, aren't you? Wow. Yeah, you were dead in Christ before you came to this channel. You had your faith. It's not the people who died believing in Christ. No. They were dead in Christ. They were in Christ. They believed, but it was just not vibrant. It was kind of dead, right? It didn't have the authority, the confirmation, the proof, the truth. You did not accept the truth. You were dead in Christ. But now that you accept the truth, you are risen. You have a better outlook. You have a new perspective. The twinkle of an eye is not the short period of time. It's the tweaking of an eye, the changing of your perspective. You will be changed in the twinkle of an eye. You will be changed when you change your perspective. And the word rapture is not in the Bible. It talks about being caught up in with me in the clouds. Well, this is an image of me in the clouds. You are here. You're fascinated by it. You're intrigued by it. It's interesting. You're caught up in a good book, caught up in a good song, caught up in a good movie. That's what caught up is. Not levitated into the air. Doesn't say anything about levitation there. It says you will be caught up with him in the clouds. Well, here I am in the clouds, and now you're caught up with me in the clouds. We have met in the air of cyberspace, live on YouTube, right? That's cyberspace. That's the part you'll meet in the air, not up in the clouds, levitating. No. You will see me coming in the clouds. You'll get caught up with me in the clouds. You will meet me in the air, live on YouTube. The dead in Christ will rise. They will learn salvation, the art of salvaging a day, the art of helping somebody else salvage their day. Multiple salvages per day if you have to. If your day starts off bad, you might have to rescue it time and time again. So, my days go, the moment I get some peace and I've made a successful salvation from negative back to a positive way of thinking, a new thing comes along and kicks me in the balls. So it's a start all over, a next new salvage by praying, Lord, please help me. I'm having a rough moment right now. These people are, and then you salvage that moment. You feel better. You rise above your circumstances and you move forward. That's how it's done. And there's your foundation right there. Interesting thing happened to me today. I was in the grocery store, elderly ladies couldn't reach the case of water. And I'm like, sweetie, do you need that case of water? She, oh, yes, please. Could you help me grab it? Well, of course. So I even positioned her cart just right so I can swing the case of water over. And she's like, oh, you're just like a knight in shining armor. Wow. How funny she would say that. Because my last name is Knight. I am a knight in shining armor. She said, yes, you are, dear. And I could tell. I recognized her voice. And I showed her this right here. I said, you got a couple of seconds? I want to give you a gift. Oh, sure, Sonny. You help me. I'll give you a few seconds. And I showed her this, and she saw it. And she recognized it. She goes, that's a miracle. I go, very good, very good. You recognize it for what it is. It's a miracle. She's like, yeah, it is. I see it. It's plain as day. It's true. I see it. That's a miracle. And then I asked her, I said, well, if it's a miracle, there's only one person that can show you a real miracle. And she thinks for a second. I said it again. I said, there's only one person that can show you a true miracle. And her eyes got big. She started looking at me and smiling. She's putting the dots together. She's like, wait a second. I'm witnessing a miracle. There's only one person that can show me a true miracle. And if this person is standing right in front of me showing me a true miracle, this must be the person standing right here in front of me. And her face lit up, her jaw dropped, and I gave her a big hug. Oh, it was such a nice, warm hug. Pretty cool stuff. It is so awesome to be able to do this. Truly blessed and cursed with a bunch of pain, but unfortunately, I like pain. I turn it around and I use it for victory, right? So, like, you guys going grocery shopping, it's no big deal. You go in, you grab the cart, throw some food in, go to the register and walk out. For me, it's excruciatingly painful. Everybody cuts me off. Everybody, steps in front of me. It's a gauntlet to do groceries, right? So when I get home with the groceries successfully in excruciating pain, pouring sweat, my day was a victory. My grocery shopping turned into a huge spiritual event with a victory at the end, where everybody else is just doing grocery shopping. Yeah. So it's a different way to live. It's hard. It's not what everybody makes it out to be. They think, oh, you're the chosen one. No, it's chosen for eternal pain. You okay with that? You sure you want to be chosen for eternal pain? Forever pain. Sign up for that. Nobody signs up for that. There's only one person crazy enough to sign up to be in eternal pain. Because I like it. Builds character. Makes me tough. So I can defend you guys. All right, so that's it for now. I think, is that it for now? We're done? We got everything? Covered notes? We covered the progress? Yes. Dead in Christ. Wow. I didn't think that's a new revelation right there. Because it's not dead bodies going to pop up out of the ground. Think about this for a second. If the dead in Christ were to rise, there's supposedly believers that are going to come up out of the ground, right? Is that what we're thinking? Wait a second. What happens to people who believe and then pass away? They're with me already. So how are they supposed to pop up out of the ground? Did you guys even think this shit through? When people tell you this stuff, does it even, they're like, oh, the Bible's so contradictory. No, the Bible's pretty right on. It's the way you interpret stuff that you're come from a contradictory thought pattern in the first place. How are you gonna decipher something when you don't even have the proper thought pattern in the first place? So therein lies a lot of interpretation issues, such as the rapture. Everybody got their heart set on that rapture. Oh, we're going to levitate up into the sky. Just where is it? Where is it? It's got to be any time now. It has to be right about now. All the scriptures are pointing to this time as the rapture time. And it is. Just not the way Hollywood portrayed. So if you're disappointed that you didn't get levitated up into the clouds, well, be thankful that you did get raptured, because you are caught up with me in the clouds. We are here live on YouTube talking, aren't we? In fact, we're going to turn this little thing around here. I might try to do one more reading with this perspective for you guys. Come here, mess with me, YouTube. Or come on, computer. It will happen then. What, Brian? Then what? Well, have you ever been to a wedding before? Yeah, there's a big wedding up in the spiritual realm. Once you're done here, there's a big old wedding planned. You know what a reception is, right? After the wedding, there's, food and dancing and song.
And I got to be honest, I'm not completely sold on this.
And I got to be honest, I really need YouTube to get their crap together. Well, I want that one right there. Okay, that's my face. In fact, I had to kind of put the light on the other side, so we could kind of do it this way. Hi. Recognize that face? Do I look familiar? I should. You all know me. You just don't remember me. I got some other stuff. First of all, I'm delighted your desire to walk closely with me. I'm pleased that you initiate communication with me. In addition, I notice your progress. And when you realize that your mind has wandered away from me, don't be alarmed or surprised or ashamed. You live in a world that has been rigged. It has been rigged through and through. You live on the most rigged planet in the entire universe, right? Okay, everything's rigged to keep you distracted. When you realize your mind has wandered, you've been distracted, don't be alarmed and surprised. There's so much sensory overload going on, right? So much sensory overload going on. That's why these times are important. All right, you see my face? Okay, that's my face up there. I'm going to go back to that one because all you're seeing is my haircut. Anyway, back to where I was. When you realize that you've been distracted, don't be alarmed or ashamed. Each time you plow your way through the massive distractions to communicate with me, you achieved a victory. How do you achieve a victory? By plowing your way through all the massive distractions to communicate with me. When you drop all that other stuff and you finally, you're ranting, you're goddamn this shit, blah, 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 blah. Whoops. Jesus, please help me. That's when you realize that your mind wandered away from me. You came back, you restarted your rant as a prayer instead. And now you are plowing your way through massive distractions and you are communicating with me and you achieve a victory, don't you? A mental victory. You plowed through the distractions and remembered me. And went, oops, I need to communicate with, oh, yep, that's right. Don't forget to communicate. And you achieve a victory every time you do that. Every time you do that, you achieve a victory. Recognize that and do it. These are like little tiny triumphs. So rejoice in these tiny triumphs and they will increasingly light up your days. The more little tiny triumphs you accomplish, you will increasingly light up your days. So don't be discouraged by the difficulty of keeping your focus on me. Okay? Every time something thwarts your plans or desires, use that as a reminder to communicate with me. What's a good reminder to communicate with me? Every time something thwarts your plans or desires, when you're not getting your way. Is that what it is? Your plans and your desires, and something thwarts your plans or desires, and you didn't get your way. Well, every time you don't get your way, use that as a reminder to communicate with me. This practice has several benefits. The first one's obvious. Talking with me blesses you and strengthens our relationship. We're getting to know me. I already know everything about you. You know nothing about me, so we're strengthening our relationship, aren't we? Dang, we sure are, aren't we? All this stuff I'm telling you is actually true and actually happening. So, talking with me blesses you and strengthens our relationship. Other fit is that disappointments now, instead of dragging you down, are transformed into opportunities again, opportunities for good. There is no disappointment. There is no dragging down. There is only transforming them into opportunities. It's just opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. So don't let things be disappointments. Don't let stuff drag you down. Transform it into an opportunity for good. That this transformation removes the sting from difficult circumstances, making it possible to be joyful in the midst of adversity. Doesn't it? Doesn't it? Being able to transform your disappointments into opportunity, that transformation removes the sting from those difficulties and disappointments, turns them around, turns those circumstances into opportunities for good, making it possible for you to be joyful in the midst of adversity. I made the impossible possible, didn't I? We're almost at 3 hours and 24 minutes here. All right, we're going to finish this up here. Now you know the key to be joyful in the midst of your adversity. It's hard to do, but you know the key. So begin by practicing this discipline in all the little disappointments, not the big ones, just practice on the little disappointments of daily life. Start there. Begin by practicing this discipline of transforming your circumstances into opportunities to be joyful in the midst of adversity. Practice this discipline. Start with the little disappointments, not the big ones. It is often these minor setbacks that draw you away from my presence. It's usually the little stuff that draws you away, really. And when you refrain, or not refrain, when you reframe and look at things differently, when you have that new perspective, and when you reframe your setbacks as opportunities, when you've turned that new perspective, you've learned this trick of looking at it in a different way. It's not a setback, it's not a disappointment, it's an opportunity. So when you reframe setbacks as opportunities, you find that you gain much more than you have lost. So you actually gain something, don't you? Out of a loss. Again, made the impossible possible. I turned your loss into a gain. It's only after much training that you can accept major losses in this positive way. But it is possible to attain the perspective of the Apostle Paul, who wrote, "Compared to the surpassing of greatness of knowing Christ Jesus, I consider everything I once treasured to be insignificant as rubbish." Everything that you knew before this channel is rubbish. And now, there we go. Compared to the surpassing greatness of knowing Christ Jesus, now that you know me, everything else is insignificant. Okay, and then we're going to close with this right here. Okay. Long show, a lot of information, a lot of disturbing stuff. I need you guys to walk peacefully with me through each day. I know you are wondering how you will cope with all that is expected of you. You must traverse each day like any other, one step at a time. So instead of mentally rehearsing how you will do this or that, keep your mind on my presence and on taking the next step. All right? Quit with all the distractions, focus on my presence and on taking the next step. Just the next step, not the next one after that and the one after that. We're doing baby steps, one baby step at a time. Instead of mentally rehearsing how you will do this or that, keep your mind on my presence and taking the one tiny next step. The more demanding your day, the more help you can expect from me. This is a training opportunity, and since I designed you for deep dependence on your Shepherd King, challenging times wake you up and amplify your awareness of needing my help. It's these challenging times now that we're living in that wake you up and amplify your awareness of needing my help. Look around the world. Does the world need my help right about now? They sure do. Look at your life. Do you need my help? You sure do. Because when you don't know what to do, wait while I open the way before you. Trust that I know what I am doing and be ready to follow my lead. I will give strength to you and I will bless you with peace. You guys got that strength. You guys got that peace. I will give you strength and I will bless you with peace. So walk peacefully with me through each day, one baby step at a time. Traverse each day like any other. The more demanding the day, the more help you can expect. Everything is a training opportunity. Opportunity, opportunity, opportunity. Mistakes are opportunities. Disappointments are opportunities. This is a training opportunity as well, because I designed you for dependence. I designed you for needing opportunities, right? So there's opportunities all over the place. Everything is an opportunity. Opportunities are all over the place if you learn how to recognize them. Seeing through my eyes, this new perspective, this twinkle of an eye, the new perspective that you have, and trust that I know what I'm doing. Be ready to follow my lead. I will give strength to you, and I do bless you with peace. Because I love you. Okay? Because I love you. You guys gave me so much of your precious time, 3.5 hours. These shows, I wanted to do a quick one, but you guys deserve quality, and I'm not going to rush stuff just for the sake of time. All right? Guys, you can always click and go back and watch stuff later. It takes long, but a lot of important information in there. New revelation. You guys are no longer dead in Christ. Are you? Do you want to be? Because you can choose to be dead in Christ, or you can choose to trust me and be vibrantly alive with no fear, looking at everything as opportunities for growth. As we get to the end here, it's important that you take as many opportunities as you can, because say you're on the other side now and you're telling a fellow dead person all the things you did in your life. Oh, did you take those opportunities? Did you recognize them? And you'll be like, yeah, thankfully I did. And other people would be like, no, I didn't even know that those were opportunities and I didn't take them. And yeah. Think about the end game, the spiritual end game. Now's your opportunity to sacrifice your life to save somebody else from a burning fire, right? You run into a burning building and you don't make it, but you save somebody else's life. There's no greater love than someone give their life for their brother, right? Do you want that ultimate reward of saving somebody's life and sacrificing your own? Because you know where you're going when you do that, right? Do you want glory? Or do you want to tell them, nah, I just died of natural causes. I farted too hard on the toilet and had a heart attack. Or do you want to tell them, no, I was the person who stopped the school shooter. I took 5 to the head, but I saved 400 kids that day. Doesn't matter. You have victory already. Huh? What's your story going to be? You're going to go out with some glory, or you're just going to sit and go out in a whimper? Did you help anybody today? Did you lift anybody's spirits today? Little small, little tiny steps at first. Little tiny baby steps here and there. We're in the salvage business. Okay? We specialize in salvaging our day. Some days you don't have to. Maybe everything's going smooth, copacetic, and you can remember me and say, hey, thanks. Today I didn't have to do any salvage work. It was a smooth day. You'll really learn to appreciate a smooth day when you've had nothing but bumpy for 4 weeks. One smooth day will be like a paradise compared to 4 weeks of bumpiness. All right. A lot of when you're in combat, okay, hand-to-hand combat, and your life is on the line, you have to win this or you die, right? It can be very, very, very stressful. Okay. It causes post-traumatic stress disorder, right? So when you're not in combat, you're not fighting for your life at that very moment, you appreciate every little bit of peace that you get. Okay. So think of it that way. Try to appreciate each little moment of peace that you get. If it gets disrupted, recognize it. That's what the world does. Fight hard to regain communication. That's a victory for you, for your mental health. Okay? Trying to keep your sound mind. You guys want a sound mind at the end of this, okay? This is how you do it. I sure love you guys. I sure miss you guys, man. This has been so awesome. This is the joy of the Lord, is being able to do this live stream with you guys. Really, that's the joy of the Lord. And all the pain that I go through is well worth it for these few hours that we get together. All right, that's it for now. I love you guys. I miss you. What happened in the chat? It just disappeared. Oh, there it goes. Oh, shh. They're all sleeping. Okay, I'm sorry. I lulled you all to sleep. Sweet dreams. I will see you tomorrow. I will be back. I am already back. Rest assured. Sweet dreams. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.